Potential for flooding not out of the question with these storms moving through, dropping some heavy rain. We have a flash flood watch in effect with this whole entire system through tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. So in the meantime, we're still tracking these storms. Tornado watch still under effect for just the next little bit. If it's allowed to expire on time, it will expire in about the next minute or so. Tornado watch or warning, I'm sorry, still in effect for northern Washington. And as far as Russell County goes, we're talking about the eastern fringe of Russell County as well. So in the meantime, back on Storm Track 5 Doppler radar, we're still looking at a lot of widespread showers and thunderstorms expected through the region this afternoon. And further west, we've been tracking the potential of some more tornadoes with all these tornado warnings just south of Middlesboro, back north of Dayton, and around the Chattanooga area as well. So all associated with a moist, juicy atmosphere, very spring-like conditions with warm temperatures. And we're going to be tracking these storms locally a little bit closer in on Storm Track 5 Doppler radar with team coverage with Donnie Cox and Chief Meteorologist Dave Dirks here throughout this entire event. So looks like we're getting ready to check out what's going on here close up on Smith County.
As we take a look, you can see moving just to the north, the northeast, right along I-81, right near Marion here. This is the area that we had the tornado warning earlier, continuing to push on off to the east. This is part of the weakening storm continuing to push on through with just showers now that continues from Marion back to just on the trailing edges of Saltville. As you can see, it should clear out for a little while, at least as far as the precipitation. This continues to push on off to the north and northeast. These systems are moving quickly. They're moving at anywhere from 50 to 60 miles per hour. And as they make their way across the region, we will see these pop-up thunderstorms. Some could have the potential of producing some hail, as well as high winds and also tornado warnings. And of course, we have had a couple of those. Therefore, we'll continue to watch this system to push on off to the north and the northeast. As we take a little bit of a wider view here of this area, you will see this is just one of a couple that continues to push on across. That's what we're looking at right here. That's the system back to the north near Bluefield. That's the area that spawned the original warning that moved through the area. In fact, we continue to watch that as it pushes on off to the northeast. And I'll back out and let you take a look at the one remaining severe thunderstorm warning clearing our area. Now it's just on the eastern part of Tazewell County. You can see Tazewell as well as Bland for those thunderstorms that continue to push on off, and that is a thunderstorm warning day.
All right, yeah, we're monitoring this cell. Now, the tornado warning has now expired for Washington County, Virginia, and also Russell County, Virginia. This storm is now moving up through Smith County. The warning has not been extended as of yet, so that is some good news. We were talking about how that cell looked like it had weakened quite a bit from when it was really red hot as it was moving through Washington County, Virginia. However, we do want to continue to monitor these storms right here. As a matter of fact, we've had some new tornado warnings issued upstream from the ones we were talking about a little while ago. These tornado warnings are not including any of the Storm Track 5 viewing area, but nonetheless they are tracking off to the northeast at about 60 miles per hour. We could actually, this would be the cell right here. You can see that one right there. Marcus, put on the tornado warning graphic, or actually let's go ahead and go ahead and track that if you want. We can kind of move that off to the northeast as you were doing. Moving off to the northeast about 60 miles per hour. And approximately right there, you can see still between now and about 1:12, there's Huntsville, Jellicoe would be heading up toward Middlesboro here in Bell County and southeastern portions of Kentucky. That also would include perhaps around 1:12 the Pineville area of southeastern portions of Kentucky. But this activity is still west of Interstate 75 and is going to be monitored very closely here over the next couple of hours as we continue to track this activity as it closer to the Tri-Cities. But right now, we're going to throw it to Angela Yingling, who is going to take it away from the news desk right now.
All right, thanks a lot, Dave, Marcus, and Donnie. Just to recap what we're following, the Weather Department is tracking some storms specifically to the west. They developed into a tornado warning in Washington County, Virginia, just a little earlier. That warning expired a few minutes ago, but they are still tracking some severe thunderstorms. Also, the schools, there are several schools that are letting out early today because of this severe weather. There's about 5 right now. You can find a complete list of the schools that are closing on our website, wcyb.com. There's a lot of information on our website. If you have not yet, you want to sign up for text and email alerts to let you know when severe weather like this happens. Also, the school closings or early dismissals in today's case. Now, this is just the beginning. Earlier this morning on News 5 today, Marcus Lynch talked about all of the storms they're tracking that they're expecting later tonight. Obviously, some developed earlier than expected today, but tonight they will have some more coverage of this severe weather that they're tracking very closely throughout our entire viewing area. Just to give you a few reminders, if you are encountering or you're in an area where there may be severe thunderstorms or even tornado warnings, you should go to a basement or an area, a low-lying area in your home. If you don't have an area, make sure you have a plan of where you're going to go. If you do need to get to a low-lying area or a basement, maybe a shelter, find some place that you may be able to go tonight. Also, it's a good idea to have some supplies ready. Food, water, flashlights, batteries, a weather radio. We just talked about the importance of NOAA weather radios. These radios work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You don't need power to run them. You can always have a backup battery in place. So if the power goes out, you still have this NOAA weather radio to let you know. Here's some more facts about tornado safety tips. Stay calm. They say seek shelter. We talked about the low basement, low lying area. Keep your portable radio or TV handy. This is an important fact, and listen up. A lot of people don't know this, but you should always wear shoes. Last April, when we were covering all of the tornadoes that came through our area, so many people said they left their house and didn't have anything on them. It hit in the middle of the night. They never had shoes on. So be sure you have shoes on them, especially if you have children. It might be a good idea to wear shoes throughout the entire day, throughout this severe weather episode. That way, in case you do have to go somewhere, you do have shoes on. Also, be sure to protect your head and chest in case of a tornado. Crouch down, cover your head with your hands, make sure you can protect yourself. Also, a bathtub's always a good idea. If you need to get into a bathtub and you can cover yourself in pillows or blankets, crouch face to floor if you do get in the situation of a tornado, and be sure to put your hands behind your head. All good facts there, and especially people who went through so much last April with these tornadoes, they can say that these tips really can help in a time of an emergency just like that. Earlier today, I was on the phone and I was talking with a mom out of Yuma, that's in Scott County, Virginia. She was eating lunch with her daughter at elementary school at Yuma Elementary today, and she says when she came outside, there was hail all over the place. She actually sent me a few pictures that sent to weather at wcyb.com, so we'll have those on our webpage soon. But it shows the hail and the size. She put a quarter down, and you can see the hail's about a quarter size hail, and you can tell Dave and Donnie and Marcus were tracking and showing you when that storm cell was coming through. And that's exactly what these people in Scott County, Virginia are calling and saying they're seeing. So we're certainly tracking the storm as it happens. If you do have pictures and you can safely take and send to us, please email that to us at weather@wcyb.com. For now, let's send it back to meteorologist Donnie Cox. Donnie, tell us what you're tracking.
Well, we continue to watch all of these systems as they push across, all these cells, if you will, and it's all part of a more light system, if you will, if you can call it that, because of a warm front lifting north. The major part of the system is back out to the west, but for our particular area, you can see back to the west, this is just north of Knoxville. This is the area where the tornado warnings have been in effect for most of the afternoon or the morning hours leading into the afternoon. This goes from just north of Knoxville all the way back down to near Chattanooga. That's the next system that we'll continue to watch on as it moves on to the east. In fact, you can see some new tornado warnings issued now just north of Knoxville with this system. That continues to be an area that we will watch because it is moving in our direction, and these are the pop-up storms. The main system not expected to move in until later this evening, and we'll have to keep an eye on that. It's just a little bit further back to the west. You can see kind of becoming organized, but all the way back in the Missouri Boot Hill right here, you'll see a little red pop-up. That's even tornado warnings that far back as well, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But as you take a look at the entire area, as it continues to push on across northeast Tennessee, what we're actually looking at here is what we will call, if you will, the preliminary event. This is where some of the showers continue to push on across. And right now we've been watching areas just north of the Tri-Cities where some tornado warnings were out earlier. Those have all expired now, as that's part of the system that is pushed on off to the east, and you can see from the lightning and the storms here that continues to be the areas of the most disturbed weather right now. As it pushes on off to the east, we will keep an eye on that. Part of the reason that we want to be sure that we keep an eye on these pop-ups, because they're popping up quickly in individual areas, and that is certainly something that is hard to keep a good eye on unless we are just on top of what exactly the particular area where these pop-ups are coming. We're calling these areas, again, this is just an advanced prefrontal area. But back to the west, high risk, that's a severe potential, and you can see it comes almost to I-75. Back to the west, we'll keep an eye on that, because that is certainly the area where the most severe weather could be popping up this afternoon. A moderate risk all the way to near the Tri-Cities, and even the orange that you see here continues to push on across into our area, meaning we could see thunderstorms as we go through the afternoon. Marcus, we continue to see the clouds building in advance of this next system.
That's right, Donnie. And with the local satellite picture, we're seeing a few breaks in the cloud cover, but overall, it looks like it's fairly overcast as temperatures continue to warm up with this very spring-like system. So we've got some gusty winds that are in effect for today, too. Very warm, juicy atmosphere building. We have wind advisories that are in effect until midnight for the mountains of East Tennessee, just out ahead of the system, not really associated with any storms. We could get potential wind gusts up to 50 to 60 miles an hour. And as these storms continue to build, we could see the potential for some heavy rainfall from time to time. So we do have a flash flood watch pretty much in effect for the entire viewing area, with the exception of western North Carolina and Smith and Grayson counties. This goes on until 4 o'clock early in the morning. So we're continuing to get a lot of pictures in. We're working on getting some of those on. But again, a lot of hail dropped around the Gate City area earlier. Here's a picture of the highway. It looks like it's just literally covered. And fortunately, no active warnings are in effect for now across the region. But as we take a look at our regional radar, we're continuing to see heavy rain moving in, especially back along the Kentucky border into parts of Lee County, as well as southern Scott, and as well as the Kingsport area too. So we'll zoom into that a little bit more. We're talking about some heavier rainfall right now around Bloomingdale, Mount Carmel, some heavy rainfall moving in. As far as any lightning strikes, really not looking at much associated with this right now. And overall, that's kind of been settling down here over the last hour or so. The white flash is indicating the most recent strike. So we're getting more of that starting to build just west of the region. And until then, we're going to continue to track these storms and to let you know of any developing warnings. But again, I'll take us back out to the wider perspective here, where we're looking at really not much going on south of the Tri-Cities. Things are fairly quiet for Greene County over to Unicoi, Carter, and most of Johnson on into western North Carolina. But these storms are continuing to build to our west. And as they come in, they could continue to intensify a little bit more. We've got meteorologist Dave Dirks now with more.
All right, thanks, Marcus. Yeah, we're still monitoring this little cluster of storms very closely, because this is the next wave of showers and thunderstorms that could become severe across the westernmost part of our viewing area here over the next couple of hours. Now, this particular cell right along Interstate 75 does have a tornado warning with it presently, and it's moving off to the northeast at about 60 miles per hour, and it would take it kind of in this general direction right here, which would perhaps take it into Bell County, maybe extreme western Lee County as we travel through the next hour or so. But still, you can see these cities right through here would keep it out of Virginia. But I don't want to say that that necessarily would be the case, because it does extend further down here. But there's also another cluster of storms right now across eastern portions of Kentucky and also southwest Virginia. And this is going to be riding up and kind of training over the same areas over and over again. And we have seen several weather systems over the past couple of weeks, in addition to that big dump of snow that some areas had a couple of weekends ago, and that has really saturated the grounds, and so we really need to keep a sharp eye on the possibility of some flooding, in addition to the potential for some severe weather. Now, here is the regional perspective right now, and I wanted to show you this, because this is just kind of wave number one that is beginning to push into the area. We've already seen one wave of showers and thunderstorms come through. This one developing out to our west, and is going to continue to be pushing off to the northeast. Now, when Marcus was showing us a little bit while ago, let's go back to that graphic, Marcus, the severe risk graphic as far as this afternoon is concerned, and for the evening and the overnight as well. This is kind of the whole day combined here, but nonetheless, this is the high risk zone. And this is certainly indicative of what the Storm Prediction Center is thinking will be a significant tornado outbreak. We could be looking at long-tracked significant tornadoes, the kind that can do a lot of damage and stay on the ground for a long period of time. Now, of course, we can put the risk a little bit lower as we go eastward for those tornadoes, but the risk is not gone. As we've seen already, we've had a couple of tornado warnings in effect for our area earlier. But let's go back to the regional radar, because this is what I wanted to show. The area that is now under that high risk does not have anything going on right now, but what's going to happen, what's causing our weather is a warm front that's come through. Then we'll be in that warm and humid air mass, and then there's going to be a cold front that is now right through here. Okay, and this is going to be will be the next area of severe weather to develop over the next several hours, and that is going to be pushing into an extremely unstable atmosphere. And then we're going to see this area, I think, just really light up with tornado warnings over the next, maybe not next hour or two, but certainly as we go into the afternoon and also the evening. And we're beginning to see that beginning to take shape right now here across portions of Illinois into southeastern portions of Missouri, where we do have a tornado warning in effect right now across portions of southeastern Missouri. Right here, there is a tornado warning. But this is probably the beginning of the development of this large tornado outbreak that will likely develop out to our west, and that will then have to be monitored as it comes into our area this evening. Timing of that looks to be, as far as this line of storms itself, would probably be sometime after 8 or 9 o'clock this evening for the Tri-Cities. But that's also, we want to kind of preface that with that we have still a line of showers and thunderstorms that will be coming through this afternoon. So we will have two chances of severe weather. One, as this little line of showers and thunderstorms continues to move eastward into Kentucky and southwest Virginia, and we're still monitoring this little segment of the storms especially because they have tornado warnings with them. There's one tornado warning right here to the near the Chattanooga area. Another one here. Yeah, Chattanooga looks like they are in a tornado warning right now. One just to the south of Crossville, and then this new tornado warning includes La Follette in the northern part of the plateau area of East Tennessee, and that's tracking up toward Bell County. And again, you can see as it moves like this, it could begin also to affect parts of perhaps Hancock County and also Lee County. Okay, don't want to get too speculative at this point in time, but this is the next most intense and perhaps dangerous cell that will be tracking northeastward here over the next couple of hours. It will actually be, if it's going to make it into Lee County and Hancock County and Bell County, it will be there before the next couple of hours. But we've already got some heavy rain in this area right now, but that storm itself here does not have a tornado warning with it, but this one down here does. And let's go do a little storm track on that and track that off to the northeast at, I guess it's still going about 50, 55 miles per hour, right, guys?
Right.
Yes, they were going 50 to 55 miles per hour, and you can see the towns that we're starting to add on here now. Jellicoe and all the way up to Beverly. These are areas near Cumberland Gap, Middlesboro, Pineville. These are areas that are in the line of the storm. It's moving to the east-northeast around anywhere from 50 to 60 miles per hour. The area that you see that we are showing right now is where La Follette has a tornado warning. The area around La Follette, that is right near I-75. Right now, most of the areas that we're tracking that has the tornado warnings run west of I-75, continuing back down to near Chattanooga. In fact, Chattanooga up to around Dayton, Tennessee, all the way up to near the Cumberland County, Sequatchie, and Bledsoe area, as well as continuing up to the area we just showed you at La Follette here. Off to the east, we continue to see the rain from that. By the way, in the eastern part of our area, Tazewell County in and around Bluefield and on areas to the east, Bland County as well, those areas were under a severe thunderstorm warning that has now been canceled by the National Weather Service. So all warnings in our area canceled at the current time. We continue to watch some of these areas, though, back to the west. These areas, we'll keep an eye on them as they move off to the east, especially that line that was running down along I-75. That is an area moving off to the east-northeast. We'll keep an eye on those because there are tornado warnings with those. This is the advanced system. We told you just a couple of minutes ago back to the west. The larger system is back actually near the Mississippi River. That's expected in here tonight. But this line that we're keeping an eye, as you can see here, near Oneida over to Jacksboro, La Follette, Caryville. That's Campbell and Scott County under a tornado warning till 12:30. That's the northern part of the line that is moving off to the east. And again, continuing down to the south, you see just south of Cumberland County and Crossville, actually moving over into Spring City near Ray County. That is for Bledsoe and Ray until 12:30, part of a tornado warning as well. And if we look back off to the east, we're kind of in the line that's moving off to the east-northeast, especially the one we just showed you back near Ray County. If that was to hold together, it will go across Knoxville and could ride just along the same trajectory as you can see on the map here along I-81 off to the north. So we'll have to keep an eye on these in the afternoon. These are the pop-up storms. As you can see, quite a bit of lightning here right along the Kentucky and Virginia border with Tennessee back near Lee County, back to Middlesboro, Kentucky, and that continues to pop up like that as we go through this afternoon. And for the most part, that's what we'll be seeing. It's all part of the saturated air, the warm air, the moist air that's been plugged up into our area behind the warm front that moved through. That's in advance of the cold front that will spark off the other showers later. And you can see, again, the line we're looking at from just east of London, Kentucky, continues down to near La Follette, right along I-75 to the west. You'll continue to see those tornado warnings there. That is part of the area behind this warm front that is lifted off to the north and has given us the ingredients, if you will, that has spawned these areas of tornadoes and severe storms this afternoon. But again, the better line comes in later this evening with the main part of the storm that's still positioned back to the west, and we can continue to watch the system back to the west as it develops and moves on to the east. You see near Cape Girardeau up to Perryville, to St. Louis, and continuing all around the Missouri Boot Heel. That's the storm starting to line up. In fact, you can see even providing some frozen precipitation in the northern part of Missouri. So we'll continue to watch these as we make our way through the afternoon hours. Angela Yingling, of course, joining us as well this afternoon, and has some of the other news and some of the developments we've been following in the weather. Angela.
All right, Donnie, thanks a lot, and thanks to all of you guys in the Weather Center. Chief Meteorologist Dave Dirks is here, Meteorologist David Boyd, Marcus Lynch, and Donnie Cox are all here tracking this severe weather. Just to recap what we've been going over for this morning and into the afternoon, they are watching some storms to the west. They developed into a system. There were tornado warnings a little earlier. At this time, all of those tornado warnings in our viewing area have expired. There are, however, tornado warnings down in Chattanooga, and as these storms developed, they are expecting some more severe weather to move through this region, especially later tonight. So our meteorologists will be tracking all of this. Just to give you an idea too about how this is impacting our area, some schools have decided to dismiss students early because of the weather. So take a look at these schedule changes. Bristol, Virginia schools will be closing 2 hours early today. Carter County, Tennessee will be closing 2 hours early. Rogersville, Tennessee city schools will be closing at 1:30 this afternoon. St. Anne's Catholic School in Bristol, Virginia will be closing 1 hour and 45 minutes early. Washington County, Virginia schools are closing 2 hours early today. In Tennessee, Greene County schools will be closing 2.5 hours early today. All of these schedule changes are due to the severe weather that's coming through our region. Some more to add here. Tri-Cities Christian School will be closing 3 hours early today. Hawkins County, Tennessee schools are closing at 1:30. Cornerstone Academy in Virginia will be closing 2 hours early. Also, Apple Academy in Virginia is closing at 1 o'clock this afternoon. All of those school closings are rolling at the bottom of your screen. They're scrolling across. You can see them there. You can also always get schedule changes on our website, WCYB.com. Some more things you can get on our website. Of course, the latest information. You can see the radar tracking. You can sign up for email and texting alerts there. If you go to WCYB.com, you can do that. So in case of severe weather, you will get messages on your phone or in your email of the latest conditions to warn you, just in case you may not be in front of your TV at the time. Also, here's some more facts that we found out about what to do during a tornado, because like I said earlier, some places were under a tornado warning just a few minutes ago. So first, they say stay calm. Whatever you do, try not to get too worked up about it. Also, find shelter immediately. They're asking the shelter to be, they say it should be low down through the basement, a low-lying area. Also, you should keep a portable TV, a radio, a flashlight. Keep that all available. We talked about those NOAA weather radios. Those are really helpful because they still work even when the power goes out, as long as you have your battery backup in place. Another thing, wear shoes to protect your feet from broken glass or other debris that's left by the storm. That way, too, in case once the storm rolls by, you already have your shoes on and you're good to go. And in case of a tornado, you should always protect your head and chest. Make sure you get down low to the ground. You're supposed to crouch face to floor, hands behind your head. They say cover yourself with blankets, pillows, or coats. Once again, that will help protect you from flying debris. Of course, that's always important too, especially in a tornado when you have this high winds, even severe weather. So remember those tips. Those are important. We are tracking some severe weather through our area today. Earlier, we talked with a mom in Scott County, Virginia. She says they had some hail in Yuma, which is in Scott County, Virginia. She sent a few pictures to us at weather@wcyb.com. She had a picture of a quarter with all of the hail, and you could see just how big it was. That came through just before noon here, so maybe I'd say 11:30 in Scott County, Virginia. So it's certainly moving across our region. If you can safely take pictures and email them to us, go ahead and do that, weather@wcyb.com. Our team of meteorologists are working to get those pictures on our website and also on air, and we'll show you some of those shortly. If you are, just a reminder, if you're in a mobile home or a trailer, now is the time that you should be looking for a place to go, because during tornado warnings, severe weather, that is not the place to be. So make sure you have a backup plan, whether it's a neighbor's house, a basement you can get to, also some shelters. There are a few shelters open that could be an option if you do have a place that you want to get out of in a severe weather or tornado. So here's something from Russell County. They've opened shelters in Russell County, Virginia at Green Valley Baptist Church. That's in Lebanon. Cleveland Bank also has a shelter, and Honeacre High School has a shelter. That's in Russell County, Virginia. Quickly, two more shelters that are open in Greene County. One at the Andrew Johnson Complex at 310 South Main Street. That's open now. Another shelter will be opening at 2 p.m. in Baileyton at the First Baptist Church on Main Street. I understand we have a picture that has been sent in. Taking a look here, this is from David Cook. He took it in Jonesboro around 11 a.m. You can see those skies, obviously, indicating that some severe weather is on the horizon. So that's just a recap what we're going on. Our team of meteorologists, they're tracking these storms. They join us now from the Storm Track 5 Weather Center with the very latest. Guys, what are you tracking?
All right, thanks, Angela. We do have an urgent weather alert right now that we want to let everybody know about. We were talking about that storm cell that was heading toward Lee County and Hancock County in southwest Virginia, northeast Tennessee. That now has been extended, that tornado warning, to include Lee County and also the northern part of Hancock County until 1 o'clock this afternoon. National Weather Service Doppler radar indicating a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Harrogate or about 5 miles southeast of Middlesboro. So that tornado is right here in that county of Claiborne County of northeast Tennessee, and it is moving to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. Locations in the warning include Jonesville, Ewing, and also Rose Hill. So as we take a look at our live Storm Track 5 Doppler radar, the tornado itself is not necessarily with this particular storm cell, but back to the, that is it right here. So here is where that possible tornado is, right here in Claiborne County, about 5 miles southeast of Middlesboro, Kentucky, and it's moving off to the northeast at about 55 miles per hour. And meteorologist David Boyd is here with us as well, including all of our staff. We have meteorologist Donnie Coxon and Marcus Lynch as well. But in any event, David Boyd is helping us track these storms right now. And you can see here on our velocity scope that we have the green here and the red here. And that is the area that has the opposing winds that may be a certain signature that there's a tornado either developing or perhaps even on the ground right now here in Claiborne County. About it was indicated about, it was right near Harrogate, which is right here, or about 5 miles to the southeast of Middlesboro, moving off to the northeast at about 55 miles per hour. Let's go ahead and do a track on that if we could. You can see that the storm itself is about right here. That might have the tornado. See this little kind of hook, if you will? That probably is where the rotation is that is being detected by Storm Track 5 Doppler radar. In any case, here is Lee County, and here is Hancock County, and here is Claiborne County. These are the counties that are under the warning right now for a tornado, and we're going to give you a few times in a few communities that would be in line for this storm here over the next hour as it continues to move off to the northeast. We can track it toward the Ewing area at about 1249. In Lee County, Rose Hill around 1257, Jonesville around 122, St. Charles around 131, Pennington Gap around 132, Dryden at 141, and 147 Keokee. So it's kind of running right up here along the western and northern parts of Lee County, but also coming in to Hancock County. Hancock County is also in that tornado warning, but you can see that the movement of this cell would probably keep that the dangerous part of that storm to the north of Sneedville, but I do believe Sneedville is included in the warning. But there is kind of the area of concern as it continues to push off to the northeast. Now, it's also worth mentioning that this storm cell down here also has a tornado warning with it as well. So we have two possible tornadic cells, one right after the area tracking northeast at about 55 miles per hour. The storm, though, that has the warning that includes part of our viewing area, most likely the tornado is right in this zone here. Let's go ahead and put some city streets on that if we could, and some of those major highways that are involved with that. There's Harrogate, where the tornado was indicated. There's Cumberland Gap. This is right where Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia all come together. There's U.S. Highway 25E right through here, and then this here would continue as we get a little bit closer. Continue as we go up here. We've got Patterson Crossroads right there. There's Riverview, and there's Arthur. Here's Forge Ridge. All of these areas that might be in line for this tornado as it continues to push off to the northeast at about 55 miles per hour. But let me just kind of tell you what we got going here. This line right here is the Virginia and Tennessee state line. Here's alternate 58 running through Lee County. All of these areas right now are under the tornado warning that was issued for Hancock and Lee County of southwest Virginia and northeast Tennessee until 1 o'clock this afternoon. So, folks, that's the very latest warning we have. Now we're going to go back to the news desk with Angela and PJ.
Thanks, Dave. Joining me now is Paul Johnson to help keep everyone up to date on what's going on. Certainly a lot happening. Dave's storm team has been tracking a lot of storms. I know we were just talking, this started really earlier out west.
Earlier out west, it moved its way to the south. It hit Alabama pretty hard, as a matter of fact. Huntsville, some homes destroyed there, moved on to Birmingham, more damage there, but luckily, so far, no reports of deaths in Alabama. This system, of course, moved its way right up to Chattanooga. Now it's headed right at us, and that's why we're providing tracking coverage here and giving you the facts as we are in a severe weather situation. Tell you what, we do already have some school closings we want to talk about. We have a list of those. Let's put those up, please, Director, and some of the closings that we have so far. Angela, if you want to start us.
Sure. Bristol, Virginia schools, they're closing 2 hours early today. Carter County, Tennessee schools, 2 hours early. Rogersville City schools are closing at 1:30.
Also, St. Anne's Catholic School will close 1 hour and 45 minutes early. Washington County, Virginia, closing 2 hours early. Greene County, Tennessee, closing 2.5 hours early. We also have some additional information about Greene County that we'll pass on in just a second because we have some more schedule changes now. Tri-Cities Christian School closing 3 hours early. Hawkins County, Tennessee will close at 1:30, and Cornerstone Academy in Virginia closing 2 hours early. Angela.
Also, one more. Apple Academy in Virginia is closing at 1 o'clock today. This is all due to the severe weather that's moving through our region. Now, just to give you an idea what PJ was talking about a little earlier, there are some shelters open. So if you're in an area, a mobile home maybe, or something that doesn't have a basement, you may want to go to some of these shelters. Greene County has opened a shelter at Andrew Johnson Complex. That's at 310 South Main Street. It's open right now. A little later on at 2 o'clock, they're going to open one at First Baptist Church. That's on Main Street in Baileyton. There are also 2 shelters in Russell County, Virginia, open at the Green Valley Baptist Church in Lebanon. There's one at the Cleveland Bank building basement. I'm sorry, there are 3. And then Honaker High School in Honaker is also opening. So good opportunity for people to go there.
Just some things to think about as we move on toward a Friday afternoon. It is high school basketball season. I'm sure some of those games are going to be canceled tonight, so we'll give you that information as soon as we get it. And we also want to remind you, if you have any video, photos, just information, please contact us here at WCYB. Our crews will turn that right around because it's a good way, we found out the other night, that we can track this storm on Facebook. We can also do it just via email and pictures, so it's always a good idea.
It's really interesting, too, because I was talking to a mom who called from Yuma, which is Scott County, Virginia.
Right.
Dave had just tracked this storm through that region, and then she sent us pictures showing us the evidence of what everyone here was talking about. Her name was Crystal, and she sent me some pictures out of Yuma and of the hail. It showed the hail. It's right next to a quarter. It was about quarter-size hail. If we have that picture, there you go. You can see some of it. This one's from Patricia Carter. She's in Gate City, Virginia. So
now Gate City, of course, was hit hard the other night. All of Scott County, so they're used to this. Is some of our Facebook photos that we're getting. The weather coming into that part of our coverage area.
You can see that hail almost looks like snow on the road.
It really does. And as Dave explained the other night, when you have cold air and warm air mix, it's so volatile, it is so easy to get hail in that situation. When that moisture gets hit by that cold air, it turns so quickly right to hail. That's why you get those hail storms. And if you have pictures of hail, any storm damage at all, please send those along.
You know, it's funny, a lot of people are probably still working or just got their car repaired from last April. I know all of the hail repair places had such a long wait. Now here we are dealing with some more severe weather.
Some more severe weather.
And while we're not under a tornado warning right now, I do want to remind you there are some facts that we looked into about tornadoes. First and foremost, stay calm. It's recommended that you seek shelter immediately. We talked about some shelter locations that are open. Also, keep a portable TV, radio, flashlight in your shelter. Of course, those NOAA weather radios are important. This is interesting. I don't know if you knew this, but you're supposed to wear shoes to protect your feet from broken glass, other debris. So often we talk to people after storms, and the first thing they say is, I don't even have shoes on my feet. I have nothing.
They just ran out.
Yeah.
Think ahead,
Yeah, keep shoes on your feet, especially I would think if you have kids, that's a good idea. Also, protect your head and chest. You're supposed to crouch face to floor with your hands behind your head. Cover yourself with blankets, pillows, or coats.
All right, we have some video just into the studio from Hilton's, Virginia. Let's roll that in and we'll see what it looks like in Hilton's there. This is just shot right out of a back porch. You see as we go down the steps, and you can hear the hail banging down on the roof there, lots of moisture on the ground. So folks, it's moving in. You need to be prepared as we get you ready here. So we are tracking this storm. And this is from Whitney Kilgore, by the way. And thank you, Whitney. Good job. If we need a photographer, we know where to look, right?
That sound is unbelievable. You can almost hear it hitting off the cars, just bouncing. And look at the puddles. So obviously they're getting some very strong rains in Scott County, Virginia as well.
And as you see, we will keep this continuous map up so that you can see that there is a lot of stuff in the atmosphere. It looks really nasty out there. And we have a ways to go.
I was going to say, it's just the beginning. We talked so much this morning on the early show about Marcus was tracking things for later tonight. So this is just the beginning of it. I mean, it likely could last well into the night, maybe even tomorrow morning. So we have our entire weather crew here. They are tracking storms in our Storm Track 5 weather center. So be sure you follow us here on air and online, WCYB.com. Don't forget, you can sign up for alerts, text and email. So many people are on the go. Check your phone. You'll get all those alerts. Speaking of the Storm Track 5 weather center, let's send it back over to there. Guys, what are you tracking?
Well, we continue to watch the area with the tornado warning that you can see just down to the west and the southwest of our area. And you can see from Middlesboro continuing back to the west. But now we're starting to see the lightning strikes as well as plenty of the storm moving off just north of Jonesville, Lee County, as you can see here in that tornado warning that we continue to watch. This continues to be an area developing as we make our way across. Now, look, if you take a look right here, Lee and Hancock County, you'll see the new warning has just popped on as well.
Yeah, we've got a new tornado warning, Donnie.
A new tornado warning. This is for southern Bell as well as Harlan County in southeast Kentucky. Let me get on the other side here so we can show you. Once again, you can see that right here. That's into 115 for Lee as well as the southern part of Harlan. That continues back into Bell County in Kentucky as well. That's all part of the same system. We'll go back to radar. We'll take a look at it once again and see exactly what we're looking at. That is this area right here. We're putting a track on it, moving off to the northeast. In fact, it is moving off at a speed of about 50 miles per hour. And you can see some of the areas that will be impacted. Places like Ewing and Rose Hill in the next couple of minutes. Jonesville at 1:05 this afternoon. You can expect to see some of the storm activity moving in. Pennington Gap as well as 1:30. You'll see Dryden at 1:39. We'll continue to see this move into the areas to the east as we go through the next little bit. In fact, over the next half hour or so, you can see the areas off to the east. This is all part of a complex system here. Plenty of lightning strikes that we've been watching. This is a area that has developed in the last little bit, but it was actually spawned out of a tornado warning that started back in Putnam County in Middle Tennessee and made its way up across the plateau through north of Crossville and continue to push on off as we made our way through the last couple of hours. But as you can see, the system holding together very well, pushing on. You can see Pennington Gap here. Also, another storm track will show you that the probability here of a tornado about 24%, severe weather at 33%. So if we'll go back and take a look now at the radar, if we could add the lightning strikes into it as well, we'll show you quite a bit of lightning. That is one thing you need to keep your eye peeled on as you are making your way around in the storm, because lightning is certainly a serious situation in a severe storm, along with the winds and the hail and the tornadoes. But the lightning can strike anywhere, and that does cause quite a bit of deaths every year. You can see here as we take a look at the areas off to the areas where the storms are moving through Jonesville over to Gate City. We continue to see that's a future lightning strike as we push across. And again, this area that we're watching here is an area of storms that continues to push across as we make our way into the afternoon. We'll continue with the tornado warning, though, for Lee County as well as Harlan. And this is the southeastern part of Harlan. Looks like we've just added some more on, but we have Lee and Harlan and also back into Bell County that continues in effect this afternoon until 1 o'clock. This tornado warning is for the areas that you see just off in the western part of our viewing area. We'll continue to watch this as we go through the next little bit and keep an eye on these storms as they develop. One more quick look at radar, and you will see that as we peek at radar, we see quite a bit of areas here back to the Pennington Gap, up to Big Stone Gap, to Norton now, and Jonesville. As mentioned, we have a full house here with our meteorologist, and meteorologist David Boyd has been tracking this as well. And David, these storms continue to just chug right along through the area and building as we get into the afternoon and the heating of the afternoon.
That's right, Donnie, and just to update you on all of the tornado warnings, we have 3 separate tornado warnings for the same thunderstorm cell right now. It's extreme northern Hancock County, western Lee County until 1 p.m., another one for Bell and western Harlan County until 1:15, and then the National Weather Service office in Jackson, Kentucky has extended it for the rest of southeastern parts of Harlan County until 1:15. Chief Meteorologist Dave Dirks joins us now with an update on the latest warning there.
Yeah,
Dave.
we just got an update on the Lee County tornado warning. It's still in effect until 1 o'clock this afternoon. National Weather Service Doppler radar continuing to indicate a tornado that was near Ewing, or about 13 miles east of Middlesboro, moving off to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour. So this would, of course, include Ewing, Rose Hill, Jonesville in Lee County. That tornado warning in effect until 1 o'clock this afternoon. And we are looking at this thing really racing off to the east very quickly. The tornado right in this area, right through here. And as I mentioned, it's kind of moving right up along. It looks like here off to the east, northeast at about 50 miles per hour. The probability of the tornado right now is at 24% according to our Storm Track 5 Doppler radar. It's a pretty high probability. I mean, 1 in 4 chance. You got to take this seriously. So if you are anywhere in Lee County, perhaps to the northern part of Hancock County, but in this general area here, following alternate 58, this is where that tornado is last being indicated by Doppler radar. There's a Briarcliff Road right here. There's Virginia State Route 879. Here is Virginia State Route 684. It's just a little bit too down.
84 and 879.
Okay, 879. So as this thing continues to move off to the east-northeast, we would want to let you know that Rose Hill, here's Highway 671. There's State Route 672. Of course, we're continuing right up along U.S. Alternate Highway 58. There would be Boone Path in line for this as well. Let's go ahead and show folks that where Jonesville is. So our tornado is about right here, or at least our radar indicated tornado. And again, remember this tornado warning also in effect for Bell County and also parts of Harlan County as well, but is moving, at least the radar indicated tornado was right here on the western part of Lee County. So you folks in Lee County, as it continues up toward the Jonesville area, need to be taking shelter right now. This tornado is moving very quickly off to the east-northeast at about 55 miles per hour. And we can see that there are, in general, other rain and thunder showers continuing off to the northeast. But this is the storm cell right here that has the possible tornado with it. So as we do a storm track on this, you can see at 12:45, it's essentially about right now, going to be on top of the Rose Hill area. At 1:01, we'll be on top of Jonesville. 1:05 around the St. Charles area. Around 1:07 around the Pennington Gap region. Dryden at 1:12. Duffield, Virginia. So we're talking now that if it holds together, would be then, moving into the western part of Scott County. This is assuming that it does, but there is no tornado warning now in effect for Scott County. But it also would perhaps move toward the Fort Blackmore area. But then again, also remember that the next county up, not only just Scott County, but we have a lot of towns, a lot of folks, a lot of viewers in Wise County as well that would be perhaps in line for this storm beyond the expiration of the current warning, which is until 1 o'clock this afternoon. Also, just want to remind our Southeast Kentucky, Virginia viewers that this particular cell here to the southwest or very near Middlesboro also has a tornado warning with it, and that is pushing off to the east-northeast as well at about 50 miles per hour. And that tornado warning for Claiborne, Campbell County, northeast Tennessee. It does extend, though, does it not, up into portions of, is it just Claiborne and Campbell County?
That warning right there is just for Claiborne and Campbell County. Just got a new update on our tornado tracker saying that there's a 41% chance of a tornado with that cell in western Lee County. Now in between Ewing and approaching Rose Hill, or maybe on top of Rose Hill right now.
I would say the tracker said at 12:45 when we just went through that a minute ago when I was showing you those towns. It said it would be right over the Rose Hill area at 12:45. So you're right. And you can see our little tornado icon where it's indicating the rotation. There might be some up here also into Harlan County as well. We've got two signatures of a possible tornado right now. The one up here in Harlan County is got a probability of a tornado of 26%, but the one that's bearing down on the Rose Hill area has a probability of a tornado here near Rose Hill at 41%. So we do want to make folks aware in the Eds Mill area, Wilson Hill area, Carroll Mountain region, there's Smiley, and then points eastward. There's, I guess I could see it probably a little better on here. There's Jonesville right here, and there's Fleenerstown. There is Hockett, and we have Ben Hur and Collier Mill, and then up here at the very top is Pennington Gap, also under the tornado warning, but the storm is back here around the Rose Hill area and pushing off to the northeast. How far are we from Jonesville? We're 14 miles from Jonesville, so that particular storm would be there shortly. I mean, at 55 miles per hour, it doesn't take long to travel 14 miles, and we're about 19 miles now from Pennington Gap, Virginia. So where the rotation of that storm is right now is about 14 miles from Jonesville and about 19 miles from Pennington Gap, Virginia. Let's see if we can get some better indication of where maybe that rotation is right now. You can see this area right here. Right in this area right here, we would probably see that possibility. It was near Ewing, so there at Ewing and Rose Hill, so that area continues to be under the gun. But let's go ahead and show a wider, let's track this a little bit here as far as the animation is concerned, and you can see how quickly these storms are moving off to the east-northeast, and will rapidly be pushing through Lee County. But again, we'll have to keep an eye on this storm as well, because it'll be coming in behind the one that has the tornado warning for parts of Lee County as well, and also parts of Harlan County under that tornado warning, in Bell County as well. So these are the current warnings. You can see also, as we take a look at the current tornado warning graphic, that the cluster of thunderstorms right through here, and we have various counties under tornado warnings of the northern part, most part of Hancock and Lee County, this one right here, until 1 o'clock this afternoon, and then also the one for Harlan County until 1:15, and Claiborne and Campbell counties in northeast Tennessee right here is in effect until 1 o'clock this afternoon. But there are still more storms down to the southwest. Not sure if we can get maybe perhaps the tornado warning that may not be showing up on folks' television set, but there are other tornado warnings in effect for some of these storms that are now coming up the valley of East Tennessee. And of course, these are the storms we're focusing on right now. But we do have a tornado warning for this area of thunderstorms now that are bearing down on the Knoxville area. Okay, and I'm not sure, will our level 3 go down to Knoxville so that we can track that as we go forward in time here over the next hour or so, and give us some times as that storm moves off to the northeast. Also, really quickly, we want to keep an eye on all of these storms just because they're moving so fast, and this one does have a tornado warning on it right now, but in an hour, you can see it'll go from here all the way up to here within this forecast wedge, and that would take it very close to Hawkins County and also into the Cocke County. It would be into Cocke County at that point, but also getting close to Greene County. It would be approaching the Morristown area as well, and you can see some of those cities. Go ahead and put that back on there. We'll see some of those cities that would be in line for this now over the next hour as it continues to move off to the northeast. Oak Ridge, 1250, Farragut, Carnes, Clinton, Powell, City of Knoxville, and Mascot between now and 1:20. But you can see within the next hour it would be all the way up to here. So we'll have to keep an eye on that storm as well. And now the storms that we continue to track across parts of southwest Virginia. Two particular storms now have tornado warnings with them. And we can show you the ones now that is now moving through the viewing area right now of Lee County, Virginia, and also Harlan County in southeast Kentucky. Now the probability, we got the latest scan here, and indicating a 34% probability now that this storm still has a tornado with it in Lee County, and it's still kind of right along that main U.S. highway there in Lee County, right near to the southeast perhaps, or in the general vicinity of Rose Hill, up towards Smiley, and then down toward Ed's Mill. There's Ewing. And then here's U.S. Highway 58 right through here, but the storm continues to move rather quickly east-northeast at about 55 miles per hour. But of course, we do want to tell everybody that it's important that you take cover if you're under a tornado warning. And we also want to let you know, in fact, that we have a tornado watch in effect for almost all of northeast Tennessee and southwest Virginia until 4 o'clock this afternoon. You can see these this watch right here. This was issued a while back, but it does include Lee, Scott, Washington, Russell, Wise counties of southwest Virginia, as well as Hancock, Hawkins, Greene, Washington, Sullivan County, as well as Johnson, Carter, and Unicoi County in northeast Tennessee through 4 o'clock this afternoon. Now, there will be additional potential for severe weather beyond this cluster of showers and thunderstorms coming through this afternoon. And we're going to welcome in meteorologist Donnie Cox now to talk about where the risk of severe weather is, where the highest risk is, and where potentially the next round or the next wave of severe thunderstorms could be coming in later this afternoon.
Well, Dave, as we continue to look at the system that is developing around our area, providing the tornado warnings that you see here, we'll continue to watch that. It's all part of a big complex system here that we'll continue to watch back to the west, and especially this area in purple. This is a high risk in this area back to the west. It has actually been shifted to the east just a little bit, getting a little bit closer to some of our Kentucky counties especially, and that is more in for later this afternoon and tonight as the main system starts to push through. The orange or red area that you see here, that is a moderate risk, almost to the Tri-Cities with that moderate risk as we get into the afternoon hours and into the evening. And still the chance of thunderstorms is a slight risk, but we have been seeing those thunderstorms as we've gone through the day today. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. Back to the west, we'll take a look at the area that we're talking about. You see the storms in our area now, but these are just prefrontal activity, if you will. It's out ahead of the main system. A warm front lifting to the north created these thunderstorms and tornado warnings in our area today. Back to the west, though, as we take a look, the Missouri Boot Hill down through parts of Arkansas and along the Mississippi River, we continue to watch an area developing back there. That is the main part of the system, the cold front that is associated with it that will start to push in our general direction. In fact, if you'll take a look from the Missouri Boot Hill into southern Illinois, starting to see some of the tornado warnings pop up out there as well. Very complex system that we continue to watch. And as we take a look at the tornado warning for Lee, Scott, and Wise County, this is a brand new warning that has been issued until 1:30. Again, that is for the area that you see right here. It's extended east into parts of Wise and southeast Wise County. Southwest Wise County, as well as the eastern half of Scott County. It's all part of that same system, been complex back to the west. It has numerous tornado warnings with it, especially in Lee County, Harlan County, continuing back into Bell County, which is just west of our viewing area. But that's the direction everything is coming from, continuing to push in our direction. The latest edition, as I mentioned, that is the one that for Scott and Wise County. Big complex here, by the way, until 6:30 tonight for Lee, Harlan, and Bell County back in Kentucky. That area is under a flash flood warning because of all of the heavy rain that this has produced. And the area that we continue to track as it moves off to the east. And you can see here from Storm Track 5 that we see certainly a tornado is possible in this area that we continue to watch, especially moving into Scott County that's been added to it, as well as Wise, that being the warning. And you can see it's probably a 34% probability that there is a tornado there. You can see it goes all the way back from Rose Hill, continuing to push on off to the east. You can see right in here, right near Jonesville. That's the area we're watching right now as it continues to push on across. This is until 1:30, this tornado warning that we have. And you can see plenty of rain associated with this. Earlier it was just spotty areas. It is now intensified into a larger area of rain. The storms are popping up within these, and it continues to push on off to the northeast as we track this. It's moving quickly, though, between 50 and 60 miles per hour. At Jonesville, just about 1 o'clock or 1:01, just about any time coming up in Jonesville. So you need to be seeking shelter there. Also, you see St. Charles at 1:15 or 1:05 rather, at 1:05 also for Blackwater. Pennington Gap, you should see the storm about 1:07 this afternoon as it continues to drift on off to the northeast. And you'll see Dryden at about 1:13. That storm system has been producing numerous thunderstorm activity that is also indicating tornadoes. You can see right in here, that's the area we continue to watch, especially from Pennington Gap to just west of Jonesville. That's the area for the potential of development of a tornado. It's a 34% chance as this system continues to make its way on off to the east. The probabilities of the tornado in this storm system here. Again, it will push on off to the east and the northeast. And that means areas off to the east toward the Tri-Cities, also in Gate City, Weber City, Scott County, Wise County. We'll continue to watch those areas in the line of the storm. You see plenty of lightning out in advance of that storm as well, especially just north of Gate City. In fact, you can see it's almost just from Castlewood back to Big Stone Gap, continuing back to Pennington Gap to Harlan. That is the area we continue to see push across, and as it does, quite a bit of that lightning activity associated with that. Do remember that lightning is a very, very important player in severe weather as well. In fact, the tornado safety tips that we show you, go to the lowest place that you have in your home, and if you're in a mobile home, certainly go elsewhere. Get into a basement, and again, if you're in a mobile home, go to a sturdy structure. Don't stay within the mobile home. Also cover your head, especially if you happen to be trapped in the outdoors. Make sure that you keep yourself covered, and then you'll need a flashlight, radio, and cell phone to keep up to date, and then of course keep up with all the latest information as we track it in the Storm Track 5 Weather Center. Back to the radar, let's show you what we're working on here. These lightning strikes we're talking about, certainly an indication of a thunderstorm moving through the area. We'll continue to watch this system grow as it makes its way off to the east. In fact, you can see in the past a little bit, we have actually noticed that the showers in the last 15 or 20 minutes have grown quite a bit, and the intensity of these storms with the thunderstorms. So we'll continue to watch this as we make our way across the next couple of minutes to the areas to the east of the tornado warning, which now includes Scott and Wise County until 1:30, and then of course Lee County again in that until 1:30 as well, especially the eastern part of Lee County along with Wise and Scott County. Back to the west, we still have the western part of Lee County that is also under a tornado warning, along with parts of Harlan and Bell County, Kentucky. So we'll continue to watch this system as we make our way through the afternoon. Still plenty of more weather to come. Right now, we're going to toss back across to the news desk to Paul Johnson and Angela Yingling.
All right, thank you very much, Donnie. We do want to start by just so you know the difference between a watch and a warning. Go ahead, Angela.
Very important. A warning means a storm or a tornado, something severe has been spotted. It has been seen either by a weather spotter or on radar, whereas a watch means it's just imminent and it has potential. But a warning in this situation is worse than a watch.
Yeah. When you hear our meteorologists say warning, you need to pay attention. That's when you need to take action. Now, we have a lot of facts to pass along. Starting with shelters, because Greene County has been proactive since last year's storms. They're always the first to get shelters ready, and they have a shelter open now in the Andrew Johnson Complex at 310 South Main Street. And they're going to open another shelter at the First Baptist Church that's also on Main Street in Baileyton. That will open at 2 p.m. Angela?
Russell County, Virginia has also opened shelters. They have 3 of them. One is at Green Valley Baptist Church, that's in Lebanon, Virginia. Cleveland Bank Building basement will have a shelter, along with Honaker High School in Honaker. So if you are in a place where you may not be able to get to a basement or a safe area, you'll want to seek out shelter just like this, especially if you have a mobile home. Here's a fact for you from the Russell County Emergency Management. They say as many as half of all tornado fatalities occur in mobile homes. So it's important to know what to do if you have a mobile home in a tornado. And it may seem strange to leave the security of your home, and we experienced that a lot last April. So many people didn't want to leave your home, right? Your home's a safe place. But you still should leave and be aware that it's not a safe place to be during a tornado, especially a mobile home, because they're constructed to be light and easily moved. And of course, this is a problem when heavy winds come through. So please seek shelter. All of the shelter information is on our website, wcyb.com, if you need any of that information.
And you brought up a very interesting point a second ago about cell phones. If you have a cell phone, make sure it's charged, because if you lose power, you're going to eventually lose your cell phone.
And if you do lose power, 911 dispatchers are asking us to remind people, please do not call 911 just to tell them you lost power. If you lose power, contact your electric company. If you have an emergency, call 911. But please don't call to say, I lost my power, because obviously they're very busy during times like this.
Now, just a couple of days ago, of course, Scott County and Gate City hit very hard by a different storm, and now the storm is bearing down on Gate City once again. We've just received a photo of some hail in Gate City. Look at that. We want to show you that. I mean, it looks like a snowstorm out there in Gate City. I hope our weather folks even see this photo, because this is some nasty stuff coming down in Gate City.
I was even reading on our Facebook page, someone in Gate City said their car was in 4-wheel drive and it was scary. You know, obviously that hail can be slippery and icy, so be careful out there. And some more tips in severe weather cases and also tornado cases: stay calm. It's hard to do sometimes, but please stay calm and seek shelter immediately. We talked about some shelter alternatives if you can't stay at your house. It's important to keep a portable radio or TV handy. Those NOAA weather radios are especially important because they go on even if your power is out. If you have a battery backup, it will stay on, and that comes right from the National Weather Service. So you will hear all of the warnings, the same things that our meteorologists are telling you. Flashlight's always important in case the power goes out, especially batteries to keep up there. Interesting fact, PJ, shoes.
Yeah, I knew you would bring that up.
Well, first of all, I love shoes, but this is especially important why you have to have shoes on.
If you run outside, obviously, if you're just terrified and you run outside without shoes, you're going to run into some debris. That debris is going to cut your feet. So always have your shoes on if something should happen, because it's just the thing to do.
Yes, and protect your head and chest. They say you should crouch down face to the floor with your hands behind your head. A lot of times you've seen children in elementary schools practicing these tornado drills, and that's exactly what they do up against the lockers in the hallway and the inside of your building, maybe something farthest away from the windows or the walls. Crouch down, put your hands
of a 58 there, and then this stretches up into the Nicholsville area on into Dickinsonville as well. So we're still looking at these strong storms continuing. And David, let's go back and just remind everybody about the tornado warnings in general, and just show you the county map, and we'll show you that these storms are moving through, and the tornado warnings in effect until 10:45 for Sullivan and parts of Johnson and Washington County, parts of Russell County, all until 10:45. So we're tracking this system as it continues to move through pretty quickly to the east. Also looking at some more storms that are developing just west of the Tri-Cities into the northeast Tennessee side of things. And yes?
We do have a new tornado warning.
Okay. We do have a new tornado warning that includes Greene, Hancock, Hawkins, and Scott counties. So as I was just getting ready to talk about the radar showing that heavy activity that was moving in from our south and west, this is now going on, should pop up here any second here. But this is a tornado warning that is in effect until 10:45, and it does include also parts of Claiborne and Granger counties, but Greene, Hawkins, Hancock, and Scott counties, probably the rest of Scott County. It's going to be this area right here once it does feed into our computer system and show up, and that's going to be until 10:45. So thanks a lot. We're going right now to our Storm Track 5 Doppler radar again. I was getting ready to highlight the fact that we were watching this area very closely here. Very intense lightning strikes, along with possibility of some bow echoes back toward Knoxville. But this storm still west of the Morristown area, and we are looking at the potential of a tornado possibly 7 miles east of Tazewell. That would be Tazewell, Tennessee, just west of our viewing area, not Tazewell County in southwest Virginia. There's the map now. We have got that data in. Again, these areas here until 10:45, a new tornado warning has just been issued for Hancock, Hawkins, northern third there of Greene, and southwestern corner of Scott County until 10:45. So we are looking at a very strong line of thunderstorms. 7 miles east of Tazewell or 11 miles north of Rutledge, Doppler radar possibly showing a tornado moving to the east. David Boyd at about 55 miles an hour. So we'll use that data to track this storm as we check out our velocity scope again, trying to pick up where we could be seeing the possibility of that rotation there. But let's go ahead and take this line, track it out about 55 miles an hour, moving to the east, and see what that would bring us as far as our viewing area is concerned over about the next 45 minutes to an hour. So we've got that system there with some of the towns indicated here, including Sneedville and Rogersville showing up on the map, as well as Kingsport, possibly Morristown by 10:14, Sneedville and Mooresburg by 10:14, and then Russellville by about 10:18. So it does look like if this path holds together and continues to track eastward, we could be seeing these storms affecting Rogersville at about 10:24, and also tracking possibly toward the Greenville area once it gets past Morristown if it holds with this level of intensity. All right, we're going to take it back over to the news desk with some more updates now.
All right, thank you very much, Marcus.
Okay, we do have crews that are out and about taking a look at what's going on, and one of those crews is Jim Conrad. He is in Lee County, Virginia. He's joining us by phone. Conrad, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you. I can hear you, Garrett.
Can you tell us what are you seeing? Where are you and what are you seeing?
I'm in Jonesville, and I've made my way from Wise County into Lee County, which was an adventure in itself. Lots and lots and lots of heavy, heavy rain, and very difficult to drive. If you don't have to, don't. Where the water is coming across the road, it also brings debris, which is in the road. I did stop and talk to the Virginia State Police and also the Lee County Sheriff's Department. They had reports, and they have some of their guys down in Ewing, which is some 21 miles away. That's where I'm headed. Lots and lots of lightning, but you know, the storm seems to be moving, if I had to guess, towards Scott County right now. But it's moving quickly, and it is extremely powerful as far as the rain and the wind is concerned. But right now it's kind of calmed down, and so I'm going to try to make my way down to the lower end of the county and see what's going on down there.
Have you been able to stop by any of the shelters, Jim?
I don't know that there are any. I was more worried about getting down to where there might be some damage. I know that Lee County was hard hit, you know, as this storm is passing through, or storms, I should say, that are passing through. So I haven't stopped by any shelters. So I did want to get down to, you know, to see what kind of damage is done down in a town called Ewing.
Those shelters, Jim, just so you know, if you run into any people out there wondering where they are, they're in Rose Hill Elementary, Jonesville Middle, Lee County Vocational Technical School, and the Blackwater Fire Department. Those are all shelters open up there in Lee County.
Conrad, let me ask you this. You're out on the road. You mentioned that the state troopers out there and the Sheriff's Department. Is anyone else out on the road, are you seeing?
No, I haven't seen anybody, but I would imagine, well, there goes a state trooper now, that is trying to get home tonight, I would imagine. Traffic is rather light, to say the least, because the rain is so heavy at times that you just, you know, even with your wipers on high, you can't see. You slow down to 25 miles an hour and try to find the reflectors on the side of the road so that you don't run off the road. But the rain is relentless at times. It calms down, then it picks back up again, calms down, picks back up. So we'll make our way on down and see what we can find when we get down to Ewing.
Hey, Conrad, it's PJ here. One quick thing. We talked to Sheriff Parsons earlier. He says Ewing has been hard hit and perhaps some debris down there. Did the troopers tell you what you might expect to find once you get to Ewing?
The only thing they could tell me, because they were watching that end of the county, but now it seems like they're going the other way. But the only thing they could tell me is there's no power. So the power is out down there, and there could be a tree on a trailer. There could be people inside, and again, underscore could be because I haven't been there to see for myself. So you know, crews were on their way down there, and they're probably there, and so that's my destination for right now.
Conrad, you mentioned the rain. What about the wind?
The wind is rough, but not as rough as the rain. It seems like lots and lots of lightning, but the rain, when it really comes, it comes, and that's heavy. The wind, driving along is kind of hard to tell, but I can tell you that from the rain standpoint, it's picking up again here in Jonesville. But it's relentless.
All right, Jim, we gotta jump out of here. We thank you. Be safe out there. We're heading back over to the Weather Center with another tornado warning. Dave.
Yeah, we do get just a brand new tornado warning. In fact, now this is kind of a recap. Here we are about a little bit after 10 with our continuous coverage of our severe weather coverage. You can see now a large area now under tornado warnings. And this area right here is the latest addition to the tornado warning. It just came out from the National Weather Service. It includes parts of Cott County, Granger County, also the western part of Greene County right here. It includes all of Hamblin County now, a good portion of Hawkins County that was not already involved in the tornado warning from earlier, also Jefferson County and portions of Sevier County. In addition, these warnings for 10:30, these warnings continue also for portions of Washington County, Virginia, Russell County, eastern Scott County, and northern parts of Sullivan and northern parts of Johnson County until 10:45. So this storm cell right here responsible for the 10:45 tornado warning expiration, and this one right here, we actually have now kind of a line of thunderstorms now pushing into East Tennessee, and that is responsible for the tornado warnings until 10:30 for portions of Hawkins and Greene and Hancock and Hamblin and Cott counties of northeast Tennessee. Now, we do want to remind you that that tornado watch continues in effect until 11 o'clock. I can tell you, though, once that line passes through, which it has now, eastern portions of Kentucky, the tornado watch has been dropped for eastern portions of Kentucky, including Harlan, Leslie, and Letcher counties, but continues now for all of the Tri-Cities, obviously, as that line of storms continues to push in. All right, now a broad perspective of this line of thunderstorms that is now moving into the Tri-Cities area and through the Tri-Cities area. You can see it, it's kind of curvy here. It runs in a line, in a kind of a curved line here, stretching from just to the west of Richlands, through Russell County near Lebanon, and then it curves to just near and to the northwest of Bristol, and then across Scott County, and then it heads back southward down into East Tennessee from just to the west of Rogersville, down along Interstate 40 from 81 to 40 here to the Knoxville area, and you can see these little kinks within the line of thunderstorms. Sometimes that is where we can also get the spin-up tornadoes to develop as well. We got kind of a kinky nature to our line right here, and you can sometimes get little spin-up tornadoes, and Doppler radar was indicating a possible tornado with this new line of thunderstorms that we just got the new warning for parts of Hawkins and also Greene County. But you can see there's a lot of lightning strikes, cloud-to-ground lightning strikes all along this line right now, and all along that line right now we also have tornado warnings in effect. Now, we've not had any confirmation of tornadoes with this line yet. We've heard about some possible damage around Ewing, Virginia, as this line came through Lee County, but is now moving through eastern most parts of Scott County, through Washington County, and then up toward the Lebanon area of Russell County. This is an area that is under a tornado warning as well, and we can go down further to the south and show you a little closer perspective of the East Tennessee line that is now responsible for some tornado warnings as well. So here's Sneedville. There's Rogersville, there's Morristown, still mainly west of the most intense part of the storm, still mainly west of Hawkins County, but it's right smack on top of Sneedville and Hancock County, getting ready to bear down on the Morristown area, and then extends here, getting ready to push into Cott County here shortly around Newport, and certainly could be some strong winds with that as well. But let's go ahead and track this entire East Tennessee portion of this as it continues to push eastward at about 40 or 50 miles miles per hour. And you can see that it is going to affect a lot of communities now over the next hour, but at least here between now and about 10:17, Kyles Ford, White Pine, Bean Station, Russellville, Idson, Whitesburg, and Rogersville. However, as we move it beyond those communities, here you can see it's hitting parts of the Tri-Cities area as well. For example, this would be pushing back perhaps into the Kingsport, back into the Kingsport area. There's Baylet, there's at Mount Carmel at 10:52. There we have Fall Branch at 10:59. We can show you also right here, there's Jonesboro at 10:53. Down further into Greene County, Greenville at 10:37. So this line of storms is moving very quickly off to the east. And so Rogersville, you can see that you would also be in line for this particular storm, as would Greenville here very shortly, as it's moving very, very quickly off to the east at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. In addition to the possibility of some strong winds, maybe an isolated tornado, but possibly some strong damaging straight line winds would be possible as well. So like I've been kind of saying through the course of the evening, we always show you where that, where the Doppler radar is indicating that possible tornado, but this entire line could have damaging perhaps thunderstorm winds with it that wouldn't necessarily be caused by a tornado, but can still cause the damage that you would expect from a severe thunderstorm as well. So all along this line of storms now, we certainly could see some stronger severe weather, including some strong winds, as well as some heavy rainfall. A lot of these areas are seeing that rain move over areas over and over again. That's why Jim Conrad, News 5 WCYB's Jim Conrad, was talking about the very, very hazardous travel conditions because of the heavy rain that is associated with those storms. But still, at this point, we do not have any advisories for flooding, but we do have a flash flood watch that is in effect for Northeast Tennessee and also Southwest Virginia, and still the flash flood warnings continue for parts of Harlan and Bell County until about 12:30 this morning, so for a little while longer. But the cold front continues to make steady progress into the Tri-Cities. Here's a large, or a regional perspective of our cold front, and I mean, you look at this. The bullseye for tornado warnings, unfortunately, right now is right over the Tri-Cities area of Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia. Again, we do not have any reports of any tornadoes from this activity, but Doppler radar is still indicating that there might be some spin-up tornadoes potentially with these storms as they continue to race off to the east, and that's why we have large areas that are under the tornado warnings right now. So you just have to take the necessary precautions. Probably won't have a tornado hit your house. I mean, that would be a most likely event, a most likely outcome, but you just don't know. And that's why we want to make sure that everybody who is under a tornado warning is beginning to prepare, if you still are not seeing the stormy weather, to go as these storms approach your area. But of course, there's some areas right now that need to be taking shelter right now because the storms are right on top of you. So David, you were doing a little velocity scope right there?
Yeah, I just got an update on the tornado warning there in the Jefferson City area, and this storm is really beginning to race off to the east. We've been talking sometimes about a hook echo that we look for in tornadoes, but right now we're starting to see a bow, and whenever we see that, then that indicates some very strong winds. So let me illustrate. Whenever we see this kind of bow echo showing up on radar, then it indicates very strong winds, and a lot of times it will indicate that the storms are moving faster than they have been. So let's put a storm track on this line that does have a tornado warning with it. And I do want to mention that even if we don't have a tornado, we could actually see tornado-like winds, very high winds that could cause some damage or maybe some hail. So here's some of the communities that may be impacted by this storm now that it's picking up speed. It looks like it could be moving into the Morristown area around 1028, Warrensburg 1033, Caney Branch around 1040, and as it would continue into Greene County Midway at 1051, Mossheim 1054, and then heads up in Greenville. Stay alert to this thunderstorm as it will be moving into your area around 11 o'clock and could have some very gusty winds as it does so. Dave?
And so this line that we've been talking about extends northward as well, so why don't we go ahead and do a quick track of the activity that's further north to include the Tri-Cities, say from right here in westernmost Scott County, and then do this part of the segment of the storm as well. It's just kind of one big long line. I'll get a new update right there too, a new scan, so we'll be able to get a nice fresh storm track on that, and then kind of give the northern part of this line now expectations of when this part of the storm would be coming through. Now we still have some areas being pounded here in Washington County, Virginia, but that track is not for that. It's for this right here. But anyway, you can see Rogersville at 10:18, 10:20 in Clinchport, Burgoynesville at 10:24, Churchill at 10:28. 10:29 for Yuma, Mount Carmel at 10:30, and Weber City at 10:31. So beyond that, we could also take it into, for example, Kingsport at 10:32. Going to get on this side, 10:32. Okay, I'm losing my bearings here a little bit. Okay, so there is Bristol. We could click on that and show you the time that that line would come in. There's Bristol at 11:14. Point southward, there would be Tri-Cities Airport. I believe that would be, there's Oak Grove and Bluff City, Piney Flats. There's Gray at 10:43. So Colonial Heights at 10:39. And that would be for this line of storms right here. What do we have? There's Fall Branch as well. So that all these areas are still going to get this line of showers and thunderstorms as they push eastward. But like you were saying, the most wicked part to me, it does appear to be the activity that's coming here from near Morristown down toward Newport, just west of Newport, but also up here in Washington County, Virginia. We've still got kind of that bow structure that you were talking about moving through the good portion of Washington County, Virginia, now extending to near Bristol. This could potentially have some strong winds as well as it continues to race off to the east, but this would include the Greendale area of Washington County, Virginia, down to just west of Abingdon. There's the Virginia Highlands, there's Wendell, Evergreen Hills, Withers, Rocktown, and we can even go further now down into the Bristol area, and perhaps we might even do a little closer examination of some of this activity. There's Virginia High School and Woodsdale. Let's do a little street level mapping here and show you where this heavy part of the storm now is occurring with Virginia area. There we can show you there's Spring Garden, there's Virginia Intermont College, there's Virginia High School, Virginia Heights. Here's Interstate 381 right there. We've got West Valley Drive coming like through here. There's Interstate 81, there's East Valley Drive, there's Old Abingdon Highway stretching up through this way. Points, it looks like right now the Bristol, Virginia side of Bristol is getting the heaviest part of this storm, but why don't we go further southward and see what's happening down the Bristol, Tennessee sides of this storm right now. And so this storm continues. No, I'm sounding bossy. Could you put and put it into animation here, and let's just see how the general movement of that, what it's doing right now. Okay, so it does look like it's kind of pivoting down from the north and coming through the Bristol, Virginia area right now with some very intense rainfall, perhaps some strong winds. So this is kind of an area that we think might be some strong gusty winds right now over the next little while as well. But the tornado warnings continue for all of these areas. Again, we've not had any confirmation of any tornado along that line, but the warnings continue. Let's go just real quickly to the areas under the tornado warnings, and I can show you that it includes a good portion of the region from Russell and Scott and Washington County and Virginia down through northern Sullivan and northern Johnson. That tornado warning in effect until 10:45, I believe, and then the new ones here until 10:30. I'm sorry, until 10:45 for Hawkins and Greene, right through here until 10:30, and Cott County, and also up here towards southwest Scott and Hawkins County. When do those expire?
Yes, Southwest Scott is at 10:45.
Okay. All right. Thanks, David. So right now we're gonna go ahead and throw it back to the news desk. I guess I do believe we have some new information, and we're gonna let those folks take it away from here.
All right, Dave. Thank you very much.
We just got an email from our coworker Terry Renosi. Sheriff Parsons apparently just called in from Lee County to confirm that one house in Ewing has been destroyed. No injuries. A number of trees are down, and sheriff's deputies and fire crews are cutting through trees to reach several homes in that same area, and he wasn't sure exactly how many were damaged.
We've been talking about Lee County, Virginia quite a bit this evening, where the storm has been for a great part of the evening. Joining us now by phone is Jason Crabtree with the Emergency Management Office there in Lee County. Mr. Crabtree, can you hear us?
Yes.
We know that there's been some damage in the Ewing part of Lee County. Could you give us an update on that?
Yes, we do have a residence down there that has been destroyed. The crews are cutting their way in. A neighbor was able to phone in to Central Dispatch to notify us of the home being destroyed. Our main concern is entrapment. We're getting reports that there are several residents trapped in what's left of the structure. However, we're encountering live power lines, and we're having difficulty maneuvering around those to get aid to those folks that are possibly entrapped in the debris.
Is it trees that you have to cut through, or power lines, or what exactly do you have to cut through to get to these people or this person?
It is both. We do have very large trees that are down across the road, and once those trees came down, they brought the power lines with them. We do have the Virginia Department of Transportation, as well as a crew with the Virginia Department of Forestry, a saw crew, en route to assist the fire and rescue and cutting the trees to get the emergency vehicles through. However, the power lines are still live, and we're having some difficulty with the power lines themselves, trying to get the power cut off.
So these are pretty big trees if you're calling in the Forest Service.
Yes, very large trees. I don't have anyone on the ground to give an idea of diameter, but they're very, very large according to several reports that we've had.
All right, Mr. Crabtree, we're going to check back in with you in just a little bit to find out if you've been able to make contact with those folks and if they are indeed safe. But in the meantime, we got to head back over to the Storm Track 5 Weather Center for another tornado warning. Dave?
All right, thank you. Yeah, we're just going to give you a quick update on the tornado warnings that continue in effect right now for Hawkins County and down toward Greene County, also down toward Hamlin County and Cott County. This tornado warning in effect until 10:45. Tornado warning also in effect for eastern Scott County, northern Sullivan County, as well as Washington County, Virginia, northern Johnson County, and also the southern half of Russell County until 10:45 this evening as well. The latest, I'm going to go ahead and read what we got here from the National Weather Service on that tornado warning, the latest update on it. Kind of caught me away from that.
While you're pulling that up, Dave, I just want to mention that we're seeing a very intense rainstorm now moving through Washington County, Virginia, in Abingdon, and this is moving into Emory, Meadowview, and heading into Glade Spring. It looks like the number of lightning strikes is decreasing, but the rain is torrential right now. So
all right, David, here's that latest update on that tornado warning that continues in effect for 10:45 for northeastern Greene County in Tennessee, southwestern Scott County in Virginia, Hawkins County, Hancock County, and northeastern Granger counties in Tennessee. The National Weather Service Doppler radar was indicating a line of storms, like we were talking about, just a long line of storms capable of producing a tornado, located along a line extending from 9 miles west of Clinchport to near Bean Station. So let's see if we can find Clinchport in Scott County to near Bean Station. And that would be the area that was still potentially producing a spin-up tornado along that line as we continue to see that line extend further southward down all the way into western portions of Cott County there near Newport. So we could just do a general track of that right now and kind of give a heads up on that. Let's see what we have here on the tornado warning for just got an update from the northern part of the northeastern storm that has the tornado warning with it. Tornado warning remains in effect until 10:45 for the city of Bristol. Also Washington County, Virginia, Scott County, Russell County, northern Johnson County, northern Sullivan County, and National Weather Service Doppler radar a few minutes ago was still indicating a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, and this storm was near Abingdon, and that was the storm line that you were showing just a minute ago, David, and it was moving east at about 60 miles per hour. So it seems like we continue to track two segments of this line of storms that has a possible tornado with it. It's this one right here, now near and pushing east of, it's over Abingdon right now, but pushing east at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. And that storm would affect the Meadowview, Virginia around 10:29, Emory at 10:30, Glade Spring at 10:32, Saltville at 10:34, Damascus at 10:37, Chilhowie at 10:43, and Conorock at 10:43. So that continues to push in this direction right here, and would continue then to move into also Grayson County and Smith County as well, as we were telling you, and those counties right now are not involved with a tornado warning, but there's Adwolf at 10:52. Can we put Marion? You probably already did, and I missed it, but Sugar Hollow, Sugar Grove at 11:07, Marion at 10:55, and then we have Troutdale right here, I believe, in Grayson County at 11:07, and that also Volney in Grayson County at 11:15. So that is one segment, one that we continue to track and have concern for at least the possibility of some strong winds, maybe an isolated tornado, as it continues to race up along the Interstate 81 corridor. So this would include areas around Hyder. There's Johnston Memorial Hospital, there's Ashley's, there's Watauga, there's Bethel, here's Meadowview. Got Lee Highway running up here along with the Interstate 81, you know, coming right across Washington County. There's Glade Spring, there's Price Hill, there's DeBusk Mill, and there's Interstate 81. David's plotting that on there right now, and there's Highway 11, Lee Highway. So this whole area here now between Abingdon and Glade Spring, all in a tornado warning right now, and you can see the very high reflectivity or the very bright colors indicating some very, very intense rainfall at the very least, possibly some small hail, and perhaps even the possibility of a tornado within this area as well. You can see this little area of differing winds moving opposite one another. That would indicate the possibility of at least some rotation. Whether it's significant enough to be producing a tornado right now, we're just not certain. But there is Abingdon, and this whole area of Washington County, Virginia, is under the gun right now for a tornado warning until 10:45. Let's go ahead and go head south now and see what the storms on the other end of this line are doing right now. And we continue to track some strong thunderstorms that are moving through parts of Hawkins County. There's Rogersville. Here's 11W. There's Mooresburg going right up here through Hawkins County. There's Burgoynesville, and then we've got Churchill up here. And this line of storms is now pushing into the Rogersville area and could have some strong winds with it too as it continues to move eastward at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. So this would include areas, there's the Hawkins County Hospital right here. We can show you at Attenville, and there's Cuba, we've got Friendship, and there's Lee Valley, and there's Merletown, there's Alumwall, Big Creek, all of these little communities in and around the Hawkins County, Rogersville area up towards Burgoynesville in line for that storm. Further down to the south, we continue with that tornado warning around the Morristown area. And it looks like now maybe perhaps severe thunderstorm warning, David, that I'm not sure if it's replacing the tornado warning, but certainly now the severe thunderstorm warning includes the southern half of Greene County, as well as the tornado warning now for the western part of Greene County as well. So the new severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 11:15 in the yellow, and that is underneath the red. So this also includes Cott County as well, the severe thunderstorm warning until 11:15 as that line of storms continues eastward. So the tornado warnings in effect until what time were those tornado warnings in effect? Until 10:45.
Yes, 10:45. And National Weather Service Doppler radar is indicating a line of severe thunderstorms capable of producing quarter-sized hail and winds in excess of 60 miles an hour. And it's moving off to the east at 55 miles an hour. So we'll put a storm track on this line of thunderstorms, as it looks like it might be turning more into a straight line wind event, which can produce as much damage as a tornado. So you need to take this seriously, a severe thunderstorm warning can be just as serious as a tornado warning. So here's a look at some of the communities that will be impacted by this line of thunderstorms. Heads up in Bulls Gap, 1032, Warrensburg, 1032, Mohawk, 1034, Caney Branch, 1039, Mossheim. Looks like it'll be moving into your area around 1040 on down the road. Greenville about 1047, Tusculum at 1052, Camp Creek about 1052 as well. And it holds on to its current speed. It'll be moving into Washington County, Tennessee, and the Telford around 11 o'clock, and possibly into the Johnson City area sometime around 11:30. So we're still watching several thunderstorm clusters through the region, Dave.
And we'll continue, obviously, to keep track of these as they are now moving through the heart of the Tri-Cities area. It does look like, though, you may have mentioned this, David, that they dropped the tornado warning?
Yeah, the tornado warning has now expired at 10:30. So it's now being replaced with a severe thunderstorm warning for most of Greene County, including Greenville.
All right, so that's a bit of good news. Apparently that storm on the southern part of that line has weakened, not weakened, it's just no longer showing signs of rotation, because weakened kind of gives you the sense that there may not be any more danger. It's still very intense, and that's why the severe thunderstorm warning continues. And as we've mentioned several times tonight, sometimes severe thunderstorms can produce, equivalent wind damage to, the weaker end tornadoes, and that is something we'll have to keep an eye on as this little line of storms right here continues to push into Greene County, but certainly now along Interstate 40 here around Newport seems to be where the most intense part of that part of the squall line is in Cott County. I believe we're getting a new warning here.
That is correct, Dave. A tornado warning is now going to be extended from the Washington County storm in Virginia. So now a tornado warning in effect for southern Smith County and western Grayson County in southwest Virginia until 11 o'clock. Storm Track 5 Doppler radar is indicating a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado 9 miles southwest of Chilhowie or 9 miles east of Abingdon and moving east at about 60 miles an hour. So let's go to Storm Track 5 Doppler radar and take a closer look, closer inspection of this storm. There's the warning that's now in effect for most of Smith County. This would include Marion and western Grayson County until 11 o'clock. So let's take a closer look and zoom in on live Storm Track 5 Doppler radar. It does look like this storm is intensifying a little bit, and we are seeing a little bit of rotation showing up here on our velocity scope. So with the storm racing off to the east at 60 miles an hour, it's going to be affecting several communities throughout Smith County. So here's a look at the storm track. So we put the storm track on this, the latest information coming in, and there we go, 60 miles an hour. Be moving into the Adwolf area at 1040, Marion 1041, Conorock right now, or pretty soon at 1041 as well, Sugar Grove about 1050, Troutdale, Atkins, and Rural Retreat. So this tornado warning continues until 11 o'clock there. Dave.
All right, thanks, David. Yeah, we continue to watch that. You want to just take a look at a couple of our live cameras now to see what's going on our weather network, and I can show you this is our live front camera from North State of Franklin in Johnson City. Still looking at mainly dry weather here, but as you mentioned, David, those storms are continuing to push into and closer to the Johnson City area, but we can also tell you that we've had some very heavy amounts of rain so far tonight as well. Checking out some of our live conditions from Keokee and Lee County, about 1 1/3 inches, a little more than 1 inch of rain in Norton, Virginia, about 1 inch in Lebanon, and Gate City and Scott County there, about 1 inch of rain. As we head to other parts of the region, it looks like the heavier downpours thus far have been across southwest Virginia, around Clintwood and Lebanon and Birchleaf, and also Nicholsville have picked up around 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain. And here are some of the peak wind gusts that we've seen so far, with Tazewell, Virginia at 42-mile-per-hour wind gust, Abingdon, Virginia, 41-mile-per-hour wind gust, Richlands at 41, and Shady Valley at 36 miles per hour. Here's our live Volunteer Parkway cam, and we do have some rain falling now across the not terribly heavy rain, but you can see here near Bristol Motor Speedway, some showers coming down right now, and the heaviest activity, though, has been staying just to the north of Bristol. Our Storm Track 5 future track, though, here's our current line. Kind of curving across East Tennessee and Southwest Virginia, and move this forward over the next couple of hours, then you can see by 12:30, maybe the rain hasn't completely ended, but the potential for the strong winds and potential for tornadoes will probably continue to be right along the leading edge of that squall line as it continues to push through northeast Tennessee and southwest Virginia into western North Carolina. Probably back to the west, we'll still have some showers still at 12:30, but I'm imagining or thinking by midnight, 1 o'clock or so, the threat of the severe thunderstorms may still be affecting parts of southwest Virginia, but also beginning to focus more into North Carolina as well. So that's kind of the feeling that our Doppler radar is getting now as far as how the trend will be over the next couple of hours. But certainly we still have a couple of more hours before we are going to be looking at any lessening chance of any severe weather. But again, we still have quite an area under the tornado warning here. From eastern Scott, southern Russell, Washington, northern Sullivan, northern Johnson, but also the new addition for those storms as they move toward Smith County and also western Grayson County until 11 o'clock this evening, the tornado warnings there. David, what time were these, and Marcus, what time were these tornadoes until 10:45? So these are getting closer to expiration. And how about the ones for Hawkins and northern Greene and Hancock County and southeast Scott? Those too will be expiring at 10:45, but we're still tracking a line of thunderstorms through this area, and the severe thunderstorm warning still in effect until 11:15 for parts of Cock and southern Greene County and a small portion there of Hamlin County as well. So the line of thunderstorms right now is moving off to the east at about 40 miles per hour. This is the cold front that we were following yesterday and saying might produce a severe weather event across much of the Tennessee, Ohio Valley and the Appalachian region, and indeed it has. And unfortunately, we've had some reports of that damage in Ewing, Virginia and Lee County, and most likely we'll be waking up to some other damage as well. But that line of thunderstorms now continues to move steadily eastward as we show you the activity here stretching along Interstate 81 between Abingdon and Marion. It looks like the severe threat with that will be pulling here over the next couple of minutes into Smith County and is in Smith County right now. But the secondary little line of storms now building behind that where we still have those tornado warnings in effect for parts of Scott and parts of Hawkins and parts of Hancock County and parts of northern Greene County. That is for this line of storms right here. And then, of course, it extends further southward where we do have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect for parts of Cock and the southern half of Greene County, which we could perhaps do maybe a couple of tracking features now and show how that is going to be progressing as we move through the next hour as well. So if we just maybe take those three areas that I just pointed out, and we'll do tracking features on each one of those separately and kind of give an idea where that will be heading here over the next half hour to an hour. You can see Midway at 10:42, Caney Branch at 10:43, Mossheim about 10:44, St. James at 10:46, Greenville at 10:53, and Tusculum at 10:57. So points eastward would take it into North Carolina as well within an hour, but racing quickly now into Greene County. And then this particular line right here, which has the tornado warning still with it, continuing to push off to the east. That line of storms will be affecting Kingsport around 10:39, and Glen Garden and Bloomingdale and Mendota around those times as well. Colonial Heights around 10:46, Fall Branch at 10:46, and Bluntville at 10:50. And then, of course, the other storm that may have the possible tornado is the one that's just about ready to push out of Washington County, Virginia, here right along Interstate 81, stretching now to around the Chilhowie and Saltville area, but beginning to push toward Marion, and that's moving off to the east and will be affecting Adwolf at 10:43, Chatham Hill around 10:44, Marion at 10:45, Atkins at 10:51, Troutdale around 10:52 as Sugar Grove, and 11 o'clock rural retreat as that line of storms. So obviously the tornado warning still in effect, and we would encourage anyone that's still in the path of these storms to be taking shelter right now, as though we do not yet have confirmed tornadoes on the ground. ground. We've had at least the possibility of a tornado touchdown in Lee County around Ewing. Can't say it was a tornado, but the new dual pole technology that was recently installed at the on the Doppler radar at the National Weather Service in Morristown, Tennessee, that actually saw a signature, a debris signature from that new technology, and that's when we were talking about that, and then recently we were talking about that damage that was perhaps around Ewing, Virginia, where that debris signature was being detected by Doppler radar. So maybe we'll be able to say that that new technology actually works and came in handy with the storm coverage tonight. Don't like to see any damage whatsoever, but certainly that may be a confirmation that that technology is getting some good use. But in any event, the storms continue to race eastward and will continue to bear down on Kingsport and eventually moving back into Bristol, Johnson City, Irwin. You have yet to really see too much activity yet, but these storms are moving your way. But right now from around Kingsport and Churchill and Burgoynesville and Rogersville to Bayleton, going to be a rough travel here along Interstate 26 and also Interstate 81 here as we go through the next half hour or so. But the current warnings continue for a little while longer for the tornado warnings. Again, these here until 10:45, and also the warnings through Washington County, Scott County, Sullivan County, Johnson County through 10:45, and the Smith and Grayson counties. Those warnings go beyond that point as well, as the storms are now just beginning to push into these areas. So we're going to do another storm track here of this little line that's continuing to push eastward through Cott County and Greene County. Do a little storm track on that, and it appears the most intense part of the storminess now in Greene County is going to stay right near into the south of Greene County, Greenville, I should say, in Greene County. But around 10:46, you can see St. James. 10:57, Camp Creek, Allenstown, about 10:59, around 11:11, Sam's Gap. So we're talking about this moving into Madison County, North Carolina, and then into Unicoi County, Southern Washington County, Tennessee as well. Then Flag Pond you can see there as well. So we still have the possibility of some strong, possibly damaging winds as this little line segment of the storm continues to push off to the east at about 40 miles per hour. So we continue, David, to watch this line of storms move into the area as we continue to have those tornado warnings, which expire here in just a couple of minutes. So what we'll do now is while we gather some new data, see if we're going to get the new issuances of any additional warnings after they drop off at 10:45. We're going to throw it to the news desk here with Garrick, Rebecca, and PJ.
All right, thank you, Dave. We just want to give you an update on where things stand right now in Lee County, Virginia. We have confirmed with Jason Crabtree, the Emergency Management Director, that a house has been destroyed earlier this evening. The crews are actually trying to get to the house. They have to cut through trees and power lines too. There's a lot of rain going on in Lee County as well. Our Jim Conrad is out there. That's the situation in Lee County. There are reports of power being out in the Ewing part of Lee County. There are also some new shelters to tell you about since our last time.
In Sullivan County, EMA has contacted us and notified us that Elizabeth Chapel Church in Bluff City is now open for anyone that should need shelter in Sullivan County. Also, Edgefield United Methodist in Piney Flats has a shelter open as well. Just a couple other things we've gotten in Washington County. Oh, more shelters, I'm sorry. Bank of Cleveland in the basement, and Green Valley Baptist Church near Lebanon in Russell County, Virginia.
And our news director just sent us an email telling us about a post on Facebook from Natasha Douglas. She says, I live in Frog Level in Ewing, Virginia. She says, I saw the tornado barreling toward our home from Tennessee. She says, my family is okay, but it took off our roof and our house is destroyed from the rain. Prayers going out to all the people affected by these storms. And she wants to know, does anyone know what is going on in Ewing, Virginia? We are certainly working to figure out exactly what's happening, but we can tell you, Natasha, that the emergency workers are out there and trying to take care of folks out there. We just spoke to Jason Crabtree earlier.
And what she's reporting is confirming what we've been reporting about, just how hard hit the Ewing section of Lee County has been hit. The power is out. We have confirmed that at least one home is destroyed in that area, and the crews are trying to get to.
And Jim Conrad's right there. He's trying to get to Ewing. The problem is there's power lines down over the road, so he's trying to snake his way to Ewing.
And the roads are also wet, and the water is standing too. So that's another issue for anyone driving in Lee County, and really in any part of our area after these storms roll through. Because earlier today, we had all that rain.
Really?
And so now we have another round of heavy rain. So driving is certainly going to be difficult.
And we're going to take a look at some video from earlier today in Bristol, Virginia. We have some photographers out there shooting, and as you can see, the wind is blowing fairly hard. You can see the flag blowing in the wind there. This is in Bristol, Virginia, outside our studio.
It doesn't look like it doesn't look like that there's any rain, although you just did see some lightning there in the background. So this video is probably just from a couple of minutes ago, and the way it looks, the rain is coming. If it hasn't started yet, it's certainly coming. But as you can see there, the rain is picking up. As we mentioned, Jim Conrad is in Lee County, Virginia, and he's joining us by phone. Conrad, are you there?
Hey, Garrett, this is Drew. I'm
sorry.
in Glade Spring, Virginia.
All right, Drew, tell us what's going on there.
Well, we actually have moved our operation inside into the Petro truck stop because we felt like it was a little unsafe in our microwave truck. Lightning bolts were coming down all around us. We were seeing them coming down in fields across the street from us. So we hightailed it into the Petro, and we were in the dining room area, which is on the southwestern corner of the building. They actually cleared everybody out of there, cleared out the kitchen. They've now gathered everybody into the center of the building to prepare for what could be some severe storms coming in. The rain was coming down in buckets just a few minutes ago. It has subsided a bit, but we are still preparing for the worst here. Everybody is gathered inside, and they're asking everybody to get away from the windows and to take shelter as soon as possible. So here in Glade Spring, we are certainly seeing the worst of it that we've seen all day.
Drew, this is Paul Johnson. We did get a report from Washington County Dispatch that there's some trees down in Abingdon. Have you heard of anything like that toward your end of Washington County?
No, Paul, we haven't heard anything like that. A lot of truck drivers are coming in, kind of gathering around the television sets, trying to see what's going on. We've heard reports of people being in storm shelters already today in other parts of the region, some as far as Tennessee. But right now, we haven't seen anything down. We've just seen some high winds. The storms were coming in from the west, but the rain was actually falling north to south, which is when everybody got a little concerned, and that's when we gathered into the center of the room. So the weather's traveling one direction, but the wind was actually blowing the rain another. That's when you start to worry a little bit. I've been in a few situations like this in my life, and that's when you start to get a little worried when the wind starts going the two separate directions within a span of a few seconds. So we're just waiting it out here in Glade. Everybody's certainly concerned, especially after what happened just over 10 months ago, right here where I'm standing today.
All right, thank you very much, Drew Hinesley, live in Glade Spring this evening. We're going to head out to exit 29. I'm getting word that we don't have that video, but we do have it. We have some video from exit 29, a beautiful lightning strike out there. Maybe not so beautiful for the people who
From a distance, it's
nearby.
Beautiful. If you're near it, it's not quite so beautiful. It's pretty scary.
But we do appreciate you sending that. Of course, we had to move Drew inside. He was outside with his live truck, of course, no longer a safe situation for him, and he has moved into a store.
Wow, that was some dramatic video.
It really is very impressive.
That kind of tells the story.
Right,
What's
kind of
happening
lights
there.
up the whole sky. It really
We did
does.
get a caller from Meadowview, Virginia, saying that high winds, hail, and dangerous lightning is occurring. She says the winds blew her outdoor furniture off her porch. So obviously,
It's just right up the road.
Yeah,
so that whole
it's
area is
picking
getting
up.
right
And we're actually hearing similar reports between exit 7 and exit 10 along Interstate 81 of high winds and hail and rain.
Yeah, I just got a text from exit 7, a guy that lives there. High winds, he says, and heavy rain, as you said. So it's just moving right up the interstate, it sounds like.
all right, we are going to head back over. Well, let's check out some of our Facebook posts. We have some more information.
Right, we have been
coming in.
hearing quite a bit from you folks on Facebook, and we certainly do appreciate that as well as the pictures. Patty Page Church commenting on Lee County EMS Director Jason Crabtree, our interview with him earlier, that the citizens are certainly thankful for him. Shelley Williams Robinson she's in Smith County. She's concerned about that. Karen Shirks thanks us for our continuous storm coverage.
All right, we're going to check email just quickly, Garrick. We got a report of a tree down And it is not in my email, so if they want to send it to me, we can read that on the air, you guys. We'll go back to Facebook in the meantime and read some more of those posts. This one is kind of lightening the mood a little bit. Travis Leonard saying, all right, guys, get rid of the ties and suits. You've been there long enough. Get comfortable. You're going to be there for a while.
Okay, we want to show you some, just another picture. This is from the volunteer fire department along 421. They are sending us that Wesley Green was taken at 10:30 right there along 421. You can see again those menacing clouds that we've been seeing throughout the evening as folks are sending us in these pictures. Just those heavy dark clouds moving into various parts of our area. If you live in the Bristol, Virginia area right now, you're hearing what we're hearing. The thunder is now rolling through. We saw the high winds just a few minutes ago from that video that we showed you with the flagpoles, but the thunder is now moving through.
All right, we have another picture coming in from Abingdon now. Let's take a look at that. And it looks like that is along Watauga Road. And it's actually kind of a pretty picture, but obviously some scary things out there happening tonight. Now, Derek Anderson has emailed us to let us know that they have seen visible rotation during the storm. There's a tree on a trailer in Abingdon on Stone Mill and a huge tree blocking Old Jonesboro.
Oh, wow.
And that looks like it comes from...
And trees down are certainly a situation that we see as these storms move through our area, that they bring them down. And it's a big problem when they bring them down on the power lines, because that's when we have the power outages. But really, anytime that you're driving after these storms, you have to keep an eye out on the road, because even if it's not a full tree, there could be branches out on the roads. And when Jim Conrad and I were out driving around Gate City and Scott County 2 nights ago, you know, you come over a hill and suddenly there's a branch in the road, so you can run over that and maybe it won't damage your car, but maybe it could. So really just some word to the wise, tomorrow and the next day and the next couple of days as you're driving around our area, just be careful while you're out driving, because these storms bring all kinds of debris, and you don't know what you're going to be facing as you're out driving.
Well, you know, Dave has told us many times, anytime we have this many thunderstorms that come rolling through, the atmosphere becomes so volatile that winds are bound to accompany them. You're always going to get this. You have to be prepared. As you said, every turn you make on the road, you have to be prepared to meet something.
Right, and particularly at night, too.
Right.
You know, your lights will only go so far. So it's certainly something to keep in mind. We're going to be hearing more about trees down. I'm pretty sure about that.
Absolutely.
We're going to hear more weather now from Dave Dirks. I believe he's back in the Weather Center with more. Dave?
Indeed, we are going to be hearing more from Dave Dirks. A bit of good news in the sense that our tornado warnings are being overtaken by severe thunderstorm warnings, okay? The tornado warnings that were in effect for a good part of this area have expired and now been replaced by severe thunderstorm warnings until 11:30. This new severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Washington County, southern Russell, eastern Scott County in Virginia, also all of Sullivan County, Washington County, about the eastern half of Hawkins County, all of Greene County, all of Washington County, and then down into Cott County and also into Madison County in North Carolina. So this whole area until 11:30 under a severe thunderstorm warning. But we also continue with that tornado warning for part of Smith County and southern Smith County, and also the northwest or western portion of Grayson County. That tornado warning in effect until 11 o'clock, so just for a few more minutes. But that is due to this particular storm cell right here coming through the Marion area. The potential for any severe weather and that possible tornado is now mainly for the northern part of Grayson County and the southern half of Smith County. So from about Marion southward, that's that tornado warning there. But that line of storms that has the new severe thunderstorm warning with it is tracking eastward at about 40 miles per hour. So it's right through this zone here, stretching from near Abingdon to near Bristol, through the Kingsport area, still west and north of Johnson City and to near Greenville. But you can see it's moving off to the east, so it's going to be affecting Colonial Heights and Gray and Bloomingdale and Chuckey and Raytown and Telford, and also the Tri-Cities Airport between now and 11 o'clock. But of course, it would continue to push eastward into areas that may not be under that severe thunderstorm warning. For example, Johnson County and Carter County and Unicoi County. So those storms and showers still moving in your direction, but at this point we do not have a severe thunderstorm warning. All right, here's the only storm now that still has the tornado warning with it. And again, as I mentioned, it's mainly right along Interstate 81, right through here, stretching from about Marion, right here to Adkins to Rural Retreat, and then points southward to Sugar Grove, and then down into northern Grayson County, including Troutdale. These areas under the tornado warning until 11 o'clock. So for a few more minutes, this tornado warning continues. Not sure if we actually have any rotation that we can show you visibly right now. There still is a little bit you can see right in this general area here around Sugar Grove. There could be the possibility of some rotation here, and that's why that tornado warning continues for southern Smith County. So folks in the Sugar Grove area, just be hunkered down here for a few more minutes until this storm continues to push off to the east. Make sure you're in your safe shelter. Also down toward Troutdale in northern Grayson County. So areas that would be in that tornado warning from Attaway. There's Smith County Community Hospital. There's Marion. We've got Lee Highway, Interstate 81 right through here. There's Atkins. So this whole area right through here, all the way down through the Sugar Grove area, and then into the northern part of Grayson County, just about ready to push toward the Flat Ridge area. So that part of Smith County and Grayson County, Southwest Virginia, still under a tornado warning until about 11 o'clock. But the larger area of counties that are under warnings now are due to severe thunderstorms, which could the definition, the criteria of a severe thunderstorm is that the winds could exceed 58 miles per hour, and you would expect to have perhaps hail at least a quarter size in diameter. One or both have to be detected by radar in order for a severe thunderstorm warning to be issued. But it does look like, though, that we continue to track kind of a bowing structure along the southern part of this line of storms now across the southern portion of Greene County, running from near Greenville and then kind of curving through Camp Creek down toward Allenstan, east of Highway 321 and south of Highway 11E. So this whole area here continues to possibly have some strong winds and at least some brief heavy rainfall as that continues to push off to the east. Maybe we can do a track of that and see how that will affect travel along Interstate 26 here over the next half hour or so as this area of thunderstorms and showers continues to push eastward at about 45, 50 miles per hour or so. And that would, of course, take it through the southern part of Washington County, Tennessee, near Limestone, point southward toward Irwin along Interstate 26 across Sam's Gap into North Carolina as well. So you can see areas that would be in line for this potential severe thunderstorm. I do want to stress at this point there are no tornado warnings with this, but possibly some severe winds and certainly some brief heavy rain possible. But Horse Creek around 11:01, Flag Pond around 11:11, 11:12 for Sam's Gap, Irwin around 11:18, Banner Hill also around 11:18, Ramseytown at 11:25, and Green Mountain around 11:32. So this part of Greene County just about ready to move really out of Greene County, but we're still talking here pretty close to the Camp Creek area now, but moving into southern Washington County, Tennessee, and also into Unicoi County, where we do not at the present time have, did that just fill in on me?
Yeah, it just came in.
It did, I thought it did, saying there wasn't a severe thunderstorm warning, but there now is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Unicoi County until 11:30, and that is due to the storm that we were just tracking there that's coming now out of Greene County and moving through southern Washington County and soon to push into Unicoi County. So from Irwin and Unicoi all the way to, through the length of the county all the way to Sam's Gap, we're talking about the possibility of some strong winds and obviously not favorable driving conditions now along Interstate 26 for at least the next half hour or so until this particular line of storms comes through. But again, it does extend northward as well. But this here is now moving into also Madison County, North Carolina, where we do have a severe thunderstorm warning as well. So it won't be long, and we're going to be talking about these storms pushing through the mountains of Tennessee and then eventually into the mountains of North Carolina. But at this point, as I've been mentioning, the most recent warnings have all been severe thunderstorm warnings as opposed to tornado warnings, and that's good. Severe weather is bad, but I would much rather have, I guess, a severe thunderstorm warning than a tornado warning. But we are also probably transitioning into the possibility of some heavy rainfall and maybe some ponding of water on roadways and some urban and small stream flooding. Not out of the question. In fact, we do have a flash flood watch that is in effect for most of northeast Tennessee, but you can see some at least moderate showers now in the Bristol and the Kingsport area as well, and soon to be moving into the Johnson City area. But here's the flash flood watch that's in effect for the overnight hours, and still the only warnings we have for flash flooding is Harlan, Bell, and also Whitley counties until 12:30 in the morning. But the storms are certainly continuing their track eastward. I mean, that's a bit of good news as we continue to watch that cold front moving eastward through northeast Tennessee and southwest Virginia. Again, this appears the most ominous looking to me in any event as it comes through most southern parts of Washington County, Tennessee, and getting ready to move into Unicoi County and Madison County, North Carolina, Unicoi County, Tennessee. But you can see a large area of rain now extending all the way from Tazewell County all the way down through parts of Dickinson County, Wise County, Russell County, and extending down into Scott County, and now through the Bristol and Kingsport area. At least some moderate to heavy showers continue along the line of along the leading edge of this cold front, and then all the way down through the Smokies. It looks like Knoxville's now clear, but the rain is continuing. But the good news, as you just look at this from I kind of eyeball, it looks like the brighter reds are not as striking. We're beginning to see perhaps some decay or at least some weakening of this line of thunderstorms here over the past hour. But as I mentioned, through I believe it was 11:30, a broad area of the Tri-Cities area is under that severe thunderstorm warning right through this zone here, including Kingsport, including Abingdon, including Bristol, including Johnson City, including Greenville, and now including also Irwin, for example, in Unicoi County, the most recent one to be added to this severe thunderstorm warning as this area of rain continues to push off to the east. As we check out perhaps how this will be looking in 2 hours from now, our future track, I can show you that we start right now at 11 o'clock. Move it forward now in time for the next couple of hours, and as I mentioned last time we did this, it would appear by the time we get to the end of this future track that the intensity of the storms would be more so and more concerning here east of the Tri-Cities through maybe portions of eastern Grayson County, extending through perhaps Allegheny, now probably even east of Ashe County at that point, and still some stronger thunder showers extending through Watauga County and then through Avery County as well. But still some lingering showers will continue back to the west. But at this point, the main concern appears to be, number one, the possibility of some strong winds, possibility of some dangerous cloud-to-ground lightning, maybe some small hail, and also some very heavy rainfall, which will produce some dangerous travel out there. And as you guys were mentioning, Garrick, Rebecca, and PJ, it's so much harder to recognize the dangers of not only the debris on the roadway, but also any flooding or ponding of water at night. And so I just want folks to take it easy out there and then be cautious traveling about the rest of tonight.
Definitely some good advice. Thanks, Dave.
All right, just to give you an idea where things stand right now, apparently one of the hardest hit areas of our area is in Lee County, particularly the Ewing section of Lee County, Virginia. We do have confirmed that one house has been destroyed in the Ewing section of Lee County, Virginia. We talked to Jason Crabtree, the Emergency Management Director of Lee County. He was telling us that crews are actually trying to cut through the trees and also the power lines to get to that house, to get to anyone who's inside. So certainly Lee County, Virginia has been feeling quite a bit of the results of this storm. We want to show you a picture. This is actually from the exit 7 area of Bristol, Virginia, lightning strikes. This is not the, it's from Jason Alley. Thank you, Jason, for that. This is not the first lightning strike that we've seen, and probably where you're living, you're seeing lightning strikes like that. So along with what's going on in Lee County, Virginia, our Jim Conrad is out in Lee County. We hope to hear from him soon to get a update on that. There are really a number of shelters that have been set up throughout the area for folks who need it. And there's also...
We have an update here from Abingdon. Marcus Lynch just talked with folks in Abingdon. Some power lines are down in Abingdon and power outages in Greendale in Washington County, Virginia. So
also in Abingdon, PJ, apparently there are trees down in the exit 17 area right at the entrance of Winterham. So that is something to take note of. And we're getting also a news tip from someone talking about, I think this is also in Greene County, in Greenville, heavy rain and strong winds in Greenville. Jonesboro also experiencing heavy winds.
And we're hearing from Chilhowie too. Charles Bishop on Dry Fork Road is telling us that they have a downpour there, thunder and lightning. That's coming to us from Chilhowie, Virginia. And you know what we've seen all night is really this line of storm. It wasn't a straight line; it kind of curved. Oh, yeah. But as it moved through our area, so it was really hitting a lot of communities here in our area. It wasn't just isolated to one specific county or one specific community. Although we've been talking about the Ewing section of Lee County, Virginia, quite a bit this evening, there are certainly other reports of damage in other parts of our area.
And one thing they did mention was the fact that a lot of the wires that are down are still live. So be very careful if you were driving in that area or trying to get to loved ones. Make sure that you do not go anywhere near live wires. And as Dave always says, if you see flooding, turn around, don't drown, because it can very quickly carry your car away.
We're getting another report out of Abingdon that there's a tree on a mobile home in trailer on Stone Mill, and a huge tree is blocking Old Jonesboro Road in the Abingdon area too. We were talking about, when these storms come through, trees quite often are knocked down, not only on the roads but on the power lines. So be careful, as Dave was mentioning, while you're out there driving, because you can come across a tree or branches or really any kind of debris in the road.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get Drew Hinsley's just up on exit 29, so it sounds like it's headed right at Drew, so maybe we can get Drew to give us an update in a few minutes.
And we were mentioning that the shelters, one of the shelters in Bristol, Virginia is at the middle school. Meredith Matchin is there. She was saying about 30 people were there. Around 6 o'clock there was 2 that we talked to. Now there's more than 30. Right. She said that the Red Cross is there to provide food for folks that are there at the shelter. So there are a number of shelters that are set up throughout our area. At some point we're going to give you another list. But people are taking advantage of that, and that's why they're there, for you to ride out these storms and to have a safe place when severe weather hits.
Yeah. Let's take a look at another picture we got in just now. Our producer is talking to us in our ear. This is from Meadow Green Drive in Johnson City, Tennessee. A very foreboding picture there. And of course, Dave has been explaining to us all evening that a lot of clouds can look very dark and scary, but aren't necessarily funnel clouds. Right. But as you can tell, we've got a lot of weather throughout our region this evening.
And as we've learned from covering these situations, that when there are reports of tornadoes, the National Weather Service actually has to go out and do what they do to confirm it, and that can take they can be out there the next day. So it may seem like that there's a tornado that may be in your area, and maybe it is. We're not saying that it is, but these things have to be confirmed, and so that's certainly a point that we want to keep in mind.
We're going to head back out to Glade Spring, Virginia, where Drew Hinsley is standing by live. Drew, are you safe out there? I know you've moved inside a store.
Well, we had moved inside the Petro truck stop. Momentarily had to seek some shelter away from our truck. We've actually moved back out to our truck, Rebecca. We feel a little bit safer. The lightning has certainly stopped, and the rain has actually completely stopped for the moment. I look out to the west now, see a couple of bolts popping, but nothing real bad right now, and actually the leaves are not even moving on the trees. So it's kind of an eerie feeling, because just 20 or so minutes ago, maybe not even that long ago, the storm was coming in from the west, the rain was coming in from the north, and it was really, really scary for a few moments. But then everything passed, and now we're just waiting for the next wave. We've heard reports of some wind damage and some cyclones maybe around in our surrounding area, northwest of Abingdon and in Meadowview, or right around where we are. But we actually have not experienced that. That's not to say that didn't happen, but we can't confirm any of that ourselves. We've just had some very, very heavy rain, some twisting winds, but nothing tornadic of any nature whatsoever so far.
Drew, while you were there with some folks, did you happen to talk to anybody who lived through the tornadoes in April there? Were they able to maybe compare this storm to that one?
Well, there was somebody inside that I've been in touch with all day, right. And that person was in the store that April night, and he said it was just an eerie feeling today. He was a little uneasy. He's been kind of hanging close to me, looking at my radar on my phone, and hopefully we've set his mind at ease that it's not a tornado coming, just some heavy rains. But yeah, there are people that are very uneasy, Garrick, inside this store, and I'm sure throughout the region that these memories are fresh in their head of what it was like that night. And unfortunately we're getting to about that same time of night now, where another wave of storms is coming in, and it was right around 11 to 1 o'clock in the morning in that time frame where the storms happened last time. So I know there's a lot of nervous people out there, so just my advice would be to take shelter. If you can, keep an eye on your Storm Track 5 forecast, and hopefully Dave and the rest of the team will guide everybody to safety and tell everybody that these storms will be out of here sooner rather than later.
I'm sure you were popular with the phone and the radar there tonight, Drew.
Well, they have News 5 WCYB on every television set inside the Petro truck stop, and everybody that stops here is gathered around, intently watching, paying attention, because we have a lot of people here that are traveling, both southwest and northeast, and this storm is tracking right up and down I-81. So there's a lot of very concerned viewers inside the Petro truck stop. So as they keep telling me, keep up the good work back there at the station, guys, and we'll keep reporting what we see out here.
All right, be safe. Thank you very much, Drew Hinesley, reporting live from Glade Spring, Virginia this evening.
Meanwhile, we mentioned earlier that the shelter has been set up in Bristol, Virginia on Euclid Avenue at Virginia Middle School. Meredith Matchin is there and has this report.
PJ Garrick. I'm here at Virginia Middle School, where the Department of Social Services and the American Red Cross has set this up as a designated storm shelter. All around me are about 100 people sitting here just waiting out this dangerous weather. Now, people are eating here, walking around, talking, doing whatever it takes just to stay safe while we've got this dangerous weather here in our area. Right now, everyone's here inside the gym, but if a tornado or any really severe weather comes, they've got 2 designated classrooms underneath the bleachers where we can go and make sure that everyone is staying safe. Now, I talked with people from the American Red Cross. They tell me this year more people are starting to take these storms seriously and seeking shelter.
We're older now, and we don't have, any family close, so we figure we have to take care of ourselves, so we want to be where it's safer.
For now, everyone here in Virginia Middle School will be staying put until all the severe weather has left our region. And just a reminder, if you don't feel safe, if you're living in a mobile home, an apartment complex, or you don't have a basement, seek shelter immediately as the weather gets extremely dangerous. PJ, Rebecca, Garrick, back to the studio to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Meredith Matchin, reporting from Virginia Middle School this evening.
And that's just one of the shelters that have been opened up here in our area. We want to give you a list now of the shelters really across our area. This is in Sullivan County, Elizabeth Chapel Church in Bluff City, and Edgefield United Methodist Church in Piney Flats for folks in Sullivan County.
Meanwhile, in Russell County, Virginia, the Bank of Cleveland, they're doing it in the basement, Green Valley Baptist Church. That's near Lebanon.
And in Greene County, Tennessee, the Andrew Johnson Complex at 310 South Main Street is open for your safety.
That's, of course, in Bayleton, the First Baptist Church at 1208 Main Street. That's been open for quite some time for the folks in Bayleton, Tennessee.
And in Hawkins County, we've got Mooresburg Elementary, that's on Highway 31, Hawkins Rescue Squad, and Carters Valley Elementary School.
Also in Johnson County, Tennessee, we've got Old Roan Creek Baptist and Mountain City Elementary.
In Bristol, Tennessee, the Slater Center has been set up as a shelter for folks who may need a place to stay. It's actually in the police training room once you get to the Slater Center, but once you get there, I'm sure you'll be able to find that. And if you have not been to the Slater Center in a while, that is at 325 McDowell Street in Bristol, Tennessee.
And it sounds like we have another report ready with our Laura Holm, who is in Gate City tonight. Gate City, of course, one of the hardest hit areas just 2 nights ago, and today they get hit again. Laura, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What can you tell us?
Well, I'm actually in Kingsport right now. So where we are, the rain is pretty steady. At first, it was pretty quiet on our way in. It was just a lot of lightning, but the rain has definitely picked up. I think the storm is definitely headed on its way in. The lightning is very, very bold and bright, and it's all across the sky. I mean, you can't miss it. And even the thunder, it seems pretty quiet, but every once in a while you'll hear a really big crack, and you can even feel it. So, you know, the storm is on its way. One thing I did notice is there's hardly any cars on the road, and so that's a big reminder that there's water is starting to pool up and the rain is coming down, and so you don't want to be out on the roads right now. So stay safe.
Right, well, that's certainly some good advice, Lauren, and you really touched on a lot of points that we've been talking about all night, that you're not running into any other traffic out there because people are obviously heeding some warnings. We're going to show a picture of some lightning near Dobbins-Bennett. You were mentioning the lightning there. Is it raining and is it windy? I'm not sure if you said that.
It is windy. Definitely, no matter which way you're standing, you can feel the rain. It's coming down. It's pretty steady. It's not coming down in a light little shower or a big, huge downpour. It's just, all I could really say is it's steady, and it seems like it's pretty big, fat raindrops. It's just steady, and it's windy, and then there's a lot of lightning. There's not too much thunder. You can't really hear it, but there's a lot of lightning, so you don't want to be outside right now. It's definitely not, it's not a time to even go outside and take a peek at what's going on. Do it from the window.
Sure. And the picture we just showed, Laura, the lights were on. I'm wondering where you're at in Kingsport. Is the power still on or the lights on around you?
Yeah, the power's still on. We're in the parking garage near the hospital, Holston Valley Medical Center, and right now all the lights on are in Kingsport. You can see the sky is pretty lit up with homes and buildings and stuff like that. So power seems to still be on out here. So far, so good. So I don't think any power outages right now.
Laura, we did have a text that the Holston Valley Hospital, the parking garage, had people in it that were running from the storm that actually were bringing their pets. Have you been able to confirm that for us?
No, I don't think it's happening out here. We've gone to 2 of the 3 parking garages out here, and we've started to make our way up in the last parking garage. We're in the oldest one right now, and we haven't found anyone or anything out of the ordinary. I did call security, and security told us they didn't know anything about what was going on, about people coming out to the parking garage seeking shelter. And my photographer and I were talking. I don't think, if you're seeking shelter, I don't think a parking garage is really a good idea because the wind can definitely come through pretty easily. I mean, if you want to protect your car from hail, it might be a good idea, but if you're trying to protect yourself, your family, and your pets, I don't think going to a parking garage is a good idea. I think, you know, going to a designated shelter or staying at home is the best idea right now.
All right, thank you very much. Laura Holm reporting live for us from Kingsport, Tennessee tonight.
And as you see there on the radar, the storm is moving through Bristol. If you live in Bristol, you're hearing it. You don't need to be watching. You're experiencing it. So we're experiencing that too. We're getting a email from Rogersville, Tennessee, saying that it's storming terribly there. Some bad power is not out. I'm not really sure on that, but the wind is apparently picking up and thunder is bad, and that this person's family took shelter in the basement. This is from Sarah Bird. So they have been taking shelter in the basement, which really is, as we've been saying and as we've know through these experiences, that's one of the best places that you can be. If you have a basement, that's where you need to go to ride out these storms.
Ashley Taylor from Chilhowie sent us a note on Facebook saying that she's been hit with rain, insane winds, and in small hail, but not a lot. The rain is so thick you can't see your hand in front of your face, she reports. She says there are several shelters open in Chilhowie and Glade Springs, so she's telling us to please keep people updated with the shelters. So why don't we go ahead and do that here and take a look at a couple of the shelters. Can we go back to those graphics and let folks know? Because that is a pretty good idea. I know that a lot of people trying to seek shelter this evening who don't have basements or crawl spaces.
And maybe, you know, you thought earlier in the evening we would need it, and then we find out just how severe these storms are. So now you probably would want to know where where to go for shelter. They're really all over our area. I don't know, we mentioned in Russell County, Green Valley Baptist Church, that's near Lebanon, that they opened that one. It was one of the newest ones that we've been talking about. Bank of Cleveland there in Cleveland, Virginia, in the basement. Johnson County, Mountain City Elementary, that's at 301 Donnelly Street. So, you know, there are places, and Hancock County, we haven't mentioned this in a while, in Hancock County, at the old high school that's on Harrison Street, that has been set up as a shelter for folks there in Hancock County, Tennessee.
Oh my goodness, we are getting reports over the wire that 5 people were killed today when tornadoes touched down in multiple counties as the storm system slammed that state for the second time in 3 days. Let's head back over to Chief Meteorologist Dave Dirks to get the latest on that storm system.
All right, thanks, guys. You had an incredibly busy night as far as severe weather across much of the Tennessee, Ohio Valley, southern Appalachian region down toward the Gulf Coast states. I wanted to give us a kind of compile a list, a totality of the storm reports that have come in thus far from various storm reports from the various forecast offices or National Weather Service forecast offices around the region. And you can see a total of 607 total reports, and you can see the green dots right here. Those are all large hail reports, at least 1 inch in diameter, and the blue and the gold dots, those are wind damage or wind gusts that exceeded the severe criteria. And then all of these red dots right here, these little red dots, those are already some tornado reports that will have to be confirmed, but in our area we do make the list here. We'll get out of the way here. The one here in far southwestern Virginia, a tornado near Ewing, Virginia, and of course we've been talking about that for the past hour or so. And one other tornado that did touch down on the Tennessee side here, Harrogate, Shawnee, Tennessee, and that one did do some damage as well. So the closest 2 tornadoes that we've had reports of right now in Lee County, and then slightly out of the county, I believe that's in Claiborne County, the Harrogate Shawnee tornado just west of Hancock County, just west of Sneedville. So and then we have a number of reports of some large hail and some damaging winds as well, but certainly it has been another, thankfully so far for us that we're aware of, has not been a deadly night for us, but as you guys were mentioning, some parts of the country did have some deadly tornadoes with the system that came through with vengeance across much of the Ohio and Tennessee Valley. Here's a live look at our Volunteer Parkway. I guess I can hear the rain falling heavily now here in Bristol, and now I can see the rain coming down heavily from our live cam here. This is at Bristol Motor Speedway. There's the Volunteer Parkway. The lights kind of reflecting the raindrops a little bit there, but the rain is definitely coming down. Let's go to Johnson City here and show you some live conditions now from our North State of Franklin cam in Johnson City. Definitely some rain falling now in Johnson City as it has been slow to get here, but it has arrived. And take a look at some of the rainfall totals where the rain has been kind of repeating over and over again during the past couple of, during the day, during the storms of today. We've seen the heaviest rain across southwest Virginia with around an inch to a little more than an inch and a third reported in Keokee, Norton, Gate City, and Lebanon. You can see current temperatures now in the 50s. Less rain thus far, but starting to add up in some of our northeast Tennessee stations from Greenville and Kingsport to Rogersville and Mossheim, around a quarter to half an inch of rain thus far. But again, it was these areas where the rain did come in later than the rain that moved in across the northern areas. But we still continue to track a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings that remain in effect. This one here for parts of Washington County and Sullivan County, Northeast Greene and Washington County, Tennessee, and Unicoi County, Tennessee. That severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 11:30. And then we have a couple of warnings here in North Carolina for Madison County, Yancey, and Mitchell counties in North Carolina. That severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 11:45. So you'll notice that they are yellow and not red. So at this point, we do not have any tornado warnings in effect for the Storm Track 5 viewing area, but continuing to monitor a tornado watch that remains in effect until midnight. We can say, though, that the counties that have been dropped now, all of Kentucky, the western tier of counties of Virginia, including Dickinson, Buchanan, Wise, Lee, and also Hancock County, Tennessee, now has been removed from the tornado watch. Never got into a tornado watch here in Watauga, Ashe, Grayson, Smith, or Tazewell counties. So it's maybe unlikely that we'll see actually a tornado watch issued for those counties, but still further down to the south, that tornado watch is in effect. But it does appear that as we see kind of how the linear structure of this area of rain and thunderstorm has kind of been fading and kind of favoring now just kind of an expansion of more of a general rain with just some occasional cloud-to-ground lightning, not really all that much lightning either. As we take a look at this vantage point here from Abingdon to Bristol to Johnson City to Colonial Heights to Kingsport, just within that area, there have only been, as we stop it right there, within the past 10 minutes, just with that huge area that we're talking about right there, only 8 cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. Now we're down to 6 cloud-to-ground lightning strikes within the past 10 minutes. So you consider all the area that's getting rain and only having 6 lightning strikes in the past 10 minutes. Certainly an obvious sign that has diminished quite a bit, but certainly the heavy rain continues. Now, that thunderstorm cell that did produce the last tornado warning since expired for Grayson and Smith County, that has now moved here along Interstate 81 further northward through Wythe County. That is the last cell that had the possible tornado with it. And I don't believe we have a warning for that at all right now, but some heavy rain certainly around the area of Interstate 81 and 77 here in the Wytheville area. Some pretty heavy rain, but no warning with that particular storm cell. But that is probably the most intense activity, and that has now since moved out of the Storm Track 5 viewing area. Here's kind of a broad overview of the area of rain and thunderstorms that continue to move eastward. Our cold front is now moving through East Kentucky and also eastern Tennessee, and once that pushes off to the east, I'll tell you what's going to be happening. The rain showers will start to diminish overnight tonight, so will the thunder, and then we're going to be setting the stage for what will probably be a rather cool weekend. Highs tomorrow likely to be in the 50s, and then we may only see temperatures on Sunday and Monday. Take a look at this, folks, in the low to mid 40s. Still could be maybe a widely scattered shower in spots in the morning, but I think large part of tomorrow will be dry. Instead of the upper 60s to around 70 like we saw today, we'll be in the upper 50s. And then another little separate disturbance is going to be coming in from the west, northwest on Sunday. And this, combined with the colder air, may produce a few scattered rain or snow showers on Sunday. And a few flurries or light snow showers may linger in the mountains, especially on Monday. So just a little taste of Old Man Winter perhaps coming in for this weekend. It is early March, and we know March-like weather can yo-yo all over the place. And it looks like this week we will be doing that as temperatures will start to rebound right back up into the 50s on Tuesday, and it's going to be kind of nice. I think after what has been a really stormy week for the Tri-Cities area, this week I think after we get beyond Sunday it'll start cool, but could be quiet all the way through Friday with no rain, sunny, quiet weather, and temperatures rebounding back to up around 60 for highs. So that will be kind of a nice change of pace from all of the storms that we've seen here in the Tri-Cities this week. But right now we're going to throw it to a break, and we will be back in 2 minutes with some more coverage, complete coverage of the severe weather that has been moving across the TV5, News 5, WCYB viewing area.
Barack Obama and his liberal allies attack Mitt Romney. Why? Obama knows he'll beat Rick Santorum. Santorum says he's the principled conservative, but that's not how he voted. Here are Santorum's own words on voting to fund Planned Parenthood.
While I have a personal more objection to it, even though I don't support it, that I voted for bills that included it.
20 years in Washington changed Santorum's principles. Restore Our Future is responsible for the content of this message.
Now, eating at Logan's can save you more money than cooking at home. Choose from 15 mouth-watering entrees for just $7.99, including hand-cut steaks, seafood, and chicken. For great taste and better value all day, Monday through Thursday, head to Logan's.
At that moment, it hit me. This is why I joined the Guard. I couldn't believe it. I just saved a life. Somebody from my hometown.
Be there for your community at NationalGuard.com.
Just drive the Johnson City way.
Just drive the Johnson City way.
Smart Auto is the smart choice for cars, credit, and service. Right now at Smart Auto, get an oil change for only $14.95. That's Smart Auto on the Bristol Highway in Johnson City.
Can't sleep? Feel like your mattress hurts more than it helps? You need a memory foam mattress. With up to 20 models to choose from, nobody has more memory foam than Grand Home Furnishings, and nobody sells them for less. Plus, now through Monday, memory foam mattresses at Grand come with no interest for 3 full years. Choose from Tempur-Pedic, Serta iComfort, the new Kingsdown Blue Tech, Simmons Comfort Pedic, and more. All with no interest for 3 years, plus free same-day delivery. Shop Grand today and sleep better tonight.
Everyone wants that Taco Bell $5 box because everyone wants the new PlayStation Vita. And only Taco Bell is giving PS Vitas away, one for every 15 minutes. Get the box, enter the code, and see if you're an instant winner. Willing to do more for a chance to get one? Download our mobile app to find out how.
Tri-Cities Nissan on the Motor Mile in Johnson City.
Here's the latest severe threat tracker from Storm Track 5.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I want to recap here with kind of a local look at the storm reports that we had come into the Storm Track 5 Weather Center thus far. As of right now, it's just kind of a handful that with that area of storms that crossed from Lee County, from actually southeast Kentucky through Lee County and Scott County into northeast Tennessee. Again, the most prominent report and maybe perhaps the most damage that we will get, don't know for sure, but coming out of the Ewing, Virginia area, we do have some confirmed structural damage there. That was earlier, and also the tornado warning here, not tornado warning, a tornado touchdown potentially at Harrogate, Shawnee, Tennessee, in Claiborne County. And we had some large hail reports here, for example, around the Jonesville area and also around Gate City. But so far, those are the main local reports of severe weather that we've had. Of course, we've had a lot of reports of some trees down and some power lines down as well. Quickly here, we'll show you that we continue with this area of rain that continues to push off to the east. At this point in time, it looks like the severe weather threat continues with those severe thunderstorm warnings for parts of East Tennessee and Southwest Virginia for another little while until 11:45. And of course, we will continue to track these storms right now for the next hour or so until midnight. That tornado watch, actually the severe thunderstorm warnings were just dropped for all of East Tennessee, still though in effect for parts of Avery, Mitchell, Yancey, and Madison County in North Carolina. So right now, I think we can perhaps say the severe threat is diminishing, but we will continue to track it here over the next hour or two.
All right, thank you very much, Chief Meteorologist Dave Dirks, and of course, Marcus Lynch and David Boyd over there in the Weather Center working hard all night for us.
Sure, it's been a long night for a lot of people, including News 5 WCYB's Jim Conrad. He is in Lee County, Virginia. He's joining us by phone. Conrad, can you hear us?
Yes, I hear you fine.
Where are you now?
I'm just outside of Ewing. I finally made it to my destination. I had to follow a kind of a road crew, a half road crew, half forestry crew into this hollow up here. And, you know, Dave was talking about perhaps some structural damage. I can guarantee that. I saw it for myself. A lady by the name of Sheila Ramsey, her home is destroyed. She luckily was on, she said she heard a train, you know, the phenomenal train sound, and she was making her way to the basement, got to the final step, and her home was gone. And she's all right, everybody's all right, but the home up in there is gone. The road crews and the forestry guys are continuing to clear from this point up to the Tennessee line, which is not far from where I am, but I'm in Virginia, but it's, you know, the weather guys were right on target because it's the Tennessee-Virginia line down here where all the damage was, Garrett.
Conrad, we know that it's, excuse me, the one home has been affected. Are you noticing any other damage around there? Are there any other homes around there, or is it just the one home?
There are some homes around here, but I haven't seen anything, you know, as significant as that. Or, you know, and it's dark, so you can't really tell what's going on. But a lot of trees that have come down, plus all of the rain. We saw some. There goes the rescue squad back out. There are some mudslides and stuff. These secondary roads. It is, you know, pretty significant up here, and they're still answering emergency calls because they're off and running now.
Hey, Jim, I was going to say, this is PJ. We've only got a couple of minutes. The power lines, have you seen tons of power lines down in Ewing?
No, just up in this hollow where I was, I saw some power lines down. Power is on down here at the main road. I'm pretty close to US 58. I'm actually on Business 58. But maybe 2.5 miles, 3 miles up the hollow from the 58 is where the significant damage is.
So, Conrad, the drive in there, I know with riding around in Scott County 2 nights ago with you, we were running across some debris. How were the roads there in Lee County getting there to Ewing?
The big main roads are fine. It's these secondary roads that you've really got to watch because, you know, where the water has come down from driveways, downspouts, small creeks or whatever, you know, there is the debris, rocks, gravel, you know, plus there's some high water. And, you know, if you're not familiar with where you are, you don't know how high this water is, you know, and they always tell you, don't drive. And they're absolutely correct because you just don't know what's what.
Have you heard any reports of injuries tonight, Jim?
Not. I did stop by one of the shelters, and folks were beginning to go home at Jonesville Middle School. They were beginning to make their way home. They had about 25 people there at the shelter, but they were beginning to make their way home. I was just getting directions up here to where I am, which is not far. If folks know where Thomas Walker High School is, it's not far from Thomas Walker High School.
Right. So in other words, Jim, you're almost to Kentucky.
On one side and Tennessee on the other. Yeah, I'm coming down towards the Cumberland Gap. I'm not far from there.
Conrad, let me ask you this. We're looking at the radar, and the storms have moved past Lee County. What is it like there?
Here in Lee County, it's very calm now. There's no rain, no wind. Everything is kind of calmed down, and all of the emergency personnel that had staged where I am now have departed for somewhere else. So there might be something else going on. I don't know. We'll check on that.
All right, we appreciate it.
We know you will.
Absolutely.
Including Johnson City, including Greenville, and now